Hello, Philadelphia! I'm Bruce Buffer. It's time for the Anthony Gargano Show!
Good morning, everybody. How you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to the Anthony Gargano Show. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games on this beautiful Thursday morning. Joining me today, oh, look at this. I'm actually the one who's the fill-in with a couple of regular states. A little different for me. I have VG Violations Greg and the star of the show, JP Zapata. What's going on today, boys?
Long time no see, Bill.
I was really excited to do today's show. Thought we'd be coming in.
Likewise.
Nice sweep of the Astros. And instead...
Taijuan said, no, not today.
Well, we'll get to that. Instead, the Phillies lose. It was a nail-biter, 10-0. They did, in fact, record a hit, and then a couple of more. Didn't get no hit. Lose 10-0 to the Astros on a getaway day. The lead in the division now 5 with 29 games left. Braves coming in tonight. They've won 8 of 10. I never thought this division would get to this point, but here we are. The NL East up for grabs as soon as...
grabs?
4-game series against the Braves
You
with a 5-game lead. I'm absolutely worried. I'm absolutely worried. I am looking at this series very much the way I go back to 2007 when the Phillies were able to erase a 7-game division deficit with 17 to go. Yeah. Where did it all start? It started with a 4-game sweep over the Mets, the Chase Utley walk-off against Billy Wagner to end it. You know when that series occurred on the schedule?
Oh, my God.
This week. This week. It is this exact scenario. The Phillies, it's not, obviously the season doesn't end, and with the wild card, it's not imperative, I guess. But this could swing things.
Stop.
This is the most important series of the season until, of course, the postseason begins.
No denying that. Just thinking, we're not the Mets, man. The Braves are not catching. We got Chris Sanchez going tonight on the bump. Charlie Morton, he's 700 years old. This is easy tonight. This is easy peasy tonight.
So I'm happy with the way that they were able to set up the rotation so we get the 4 pitchers we have a little bit of confidence in. We're getting to go Sanchez and then Ranger and then Wheeler and then Nola. That's great. That's great, but the Braves have had our number this year.
It sounds like 3 out of 4 to me.
They need it. 3 out of 4, nothing would make me happier except for maybe 4 out of 4. But coming off of yesterday's game, you know, we're all excited. They'd won 4 in a row, the Phillies, 9 out of 13. They're back. And then they look like the team that went into that lull for a couple of months. Now, you yesterday on the show said you loved the lull. So did you have a little party yesterday? Like, was it?
Yesterday's a pause. We're feeling good, and we got to pause. You know, Taijuan's on the mound. You know, I mean, they had no offense, but it's just a mindset. Once he's out there, it's just a funk. It's a Taijuan funk. Hopefully, it's the last time we see the Taijuan funk.
I really hope it's the last time we see Taijuan Walker.
Yeah.
And he stinks. There's no questions about it. They've lost 9 of his last 9 starts.
Yes.
He's horrible. You knew that going in. Everyone out there knew that going in.
Yes.
And they weren't ready to play. I don't care if, it's Taijuan. You know what that means? Everyone should go, my day, I got to pad my stats today. I need to go up, have a nice 3 for 4 day. I need to have a few extra base hits. And I need to maybe be paying attention in the field because that's where it starts for me. Taijuan Walker is, again, terrible. But he's a very convenient scapegoat for yesterday's game. How did this game begin?
Oh, with a nice heads-up play by Bryce Harper.
With Bryce Harper not paying attention. And Jose Altuve is able to steal home. Every now and then you have a mental lapse. We saw it a couple of games ago. Alec Boehm forgets how many outs there are. Listen, it's a long season. We depend on these guys. Yep. The top of this lineup, they have to win us every game. Bryce Harper is the exact type of player who would have that lead, take that secondary lead and go, he's just laying there? I'm taking home.
Oh, yeah.
And he was unaware of the situation. And to me, that set up the vibes for the game far more than anything Taijuan Walker did.
Like, now we're in the hole. We're never going to catch up with Taijuan on the mound. I don't know. Maybe it's just Topper was like, dudes, everyone just chill. We're going through the motions. We get through this game, and then we focus. Yeah, everyone take gummy, relax.
Then rest everybody.
Yeah.
Then have everyone else out there. If yesterday was a throwaway game, why risk Bryce Harper out there? Why you gave JT the day off? Give as many people the day off as possible. If that's the mindset going in, we're throwing it away anyway. I think again, Walker's terrible. Like there's no getting around that. I don't know. Most of the innings he pitched, he didn't give up any runs. Like if Bryce is paying attention, they get out of the first unscathed. He doesn't fall apart till the fourth. He gets through the fifth and sixth. Taijuan does. I don't know. I'm just looking at yesterday's game as if the offense had showed up a little bit, it's at least winnable. I thought it was an absolute joke that Topper let Walker pitch to in the fourth inning.
In the fourth?
Yeah, to Jordan.
Yeah.
I thought that was a joke, leaving him in there for that. And he gives up the home run, and it goes from 3 to 5 or 4 to 6, whatever it was, and that's game right there. But maybe if they weren't being no hit at that point, Topper has a little bit more urgency. But considering that, 8 strikeouts through 4 innings, like maybe if that's not the case, maybe if the offense had scored a run or two and the game is somewhat in doubt, he goes, you know what? It is a winnable game. I'm going to go to the pen early, and we don't have that implosion in the fourth, and it's completely winnable. But since the offense didn't show up, it allowed him to just go, yeah, leaving Taijuan in, and he's going to get bombed, and we're throwing today's game away less than halfway through the game.
I don't think even if it was close, you were going to get to the bullpen yesterday. I think that was an organizational decision that we are keeping our arms ready for this Braves series, because this Braves series, like you said, is everything. I don't think no matter what happened, Taijuan was in it, or Mercado, or just the junk arms. That was a game that if they win, they win. If they lose, they lose. They're ready for the Braves. Arrighetti threw a really nice game. I mean, he pitched like he was Sandy Koufax yesterday.
He's been getting hot.
You saw Nick chasing balls out of the zone as he does. I don't know. The one ball was like 3 feet out of the zone. He's striking out.
C-ball, hit ball, BJ.
I can't believe I'm talking you off the ledge. This is ridiculous. This is a role reversal. I'm not ready for this.
I saw a game yesterday that could have been winnable had anyone showed up. Yeah, we can blame Taijuan. He shouldn't be here. He stinks, and it's only about the money. But if anyone shows up, it's at least close. You could have at least kept this thing close and maybe able to win it late. Instead, you're going into the 8th inning hoping maybe we can break up the no-hitter. And before we go any further, I got to tell you that this show is brought to you by Rite Aid, your neighborhood pharmacy. Visit your local Rite Aid today, stock up on allergy relief, or catch up on immunizations for RSV, shingles, and more. Walk in or schedule a vaccine appointment at riteaid.com. I
tweeted out after the 3rd inning, and like, all right, you got 3 out of Taijuan, 1 run, get them out. But I was probably wrong. Like, I agree, not going to the pen. If they would have went to the pen early yesterday, they're in trouble today if Sanchez struggles. So.
Yeah, they were definitely happy to get the series win. And I agree with you, Bill. Like, obviously, should have been better in the field, should have been better at the plate there. But in reality, I think really what it was is like these guys see Taijuan Walker out there. There's no confidence. Like we talked about the beginning part of the year. A big part of why they were so good, that starting rotation was phenomenal. And I think that radiated to the rest of the team there. When you see Taijuan Walker out there, you're like, all right, I got to set my game up. And then you see what's going on in the 1st inning. Then in the 4th inning, 5 runs. And I think at that point, they're just like, all right, we'll move on to the Atlanta series. Series is much more important. We'll take this out here. But that was unacceptable.
The pitching they got, especially through the first half of the season, was a huge reason they opened up the lead they did in the division. You got the pitching. It's on the lineup now. Like Christopher Sanchez breaking out, luck. Like it's awesome, great, but you couldn't have been counting on that at any point. Ranger Suarez turning into what he has, awesome. I don't think any of us really. Oh yeah, he's going to be like a number 2 basically.
Yeah, we did. Everybody here except Charlie. Charlie was the one.
Look what happened.
Crapping on us.
He had the lull that put him back to exactly where he is, and hopefully he picks it back up. Big fan. But you can't count on great pitching every day. This is not the 4 aces. Like, that's not what this team is. This is a team built to hit. And I say that because I look at this payroll. How many $20 million guys do you need in your lineup to not get no hit through 8? Like, I know Arrighetti pitched a great game. To me, that's no excuse when your lineup is supposed to be one of the best in baseball.
I mean, they put up 30 runs their last 4 games. You know, they have a lull. It's a lull.
Get a hit.
It's a little pause, not a lull. It's a pause.
Hit.
They got a hit. They got 2 of them, right?
Garbage time hits. Honestly, I was rooting for the no-hitter at the end.
I think what it was is that like we were on this high, like 2 straight against the Astros. They were great wins, and then we're expecting them to. I hope no one was thinking that we were about to sweep the Astros, but to lose 10-0, that's what everyone is up in arms about today.
Yeah, are they?
I think so.
You think people are angry about this
after those 2 wins?
Everything I've seen is mostly all blaming Taijuan, and again, he deserves a lot of the blame. He was not good. But if the offense shows up at all, it could be a totally different game, and that was the one you had to do it in. If the pitching, the starters, the bullpen get you through as much of this season as you have, at a certain point, the offense needs to take accountability for striking out 2/3 of their at-bats through half the game.
It's a learning moment, a teaching moment.
All these guys are in their 30s. What is left to learn for this team?
This is a peak and valley of sports. You know, they got 2 out of 3 against KC. They got 2 out of 3 against Houston. And it's like, all right, their head's not in it. They're looking forward. It's a look-ahead game, you know? Teams get caught by that all the time.
It's a look-ahead game. I will accept that, and we'll be able to look back with hindsight if it was worth looking ahead. We will know after these next 4 games if their heads were in it or this little run they just went on was just one of those peaks and valleys of the season. Of course, they're not going to be terrible the whole second half.
Are you good at a split, or 3-1 make you happy out of this 4?
A split is all right, they didn't get killed. That's okay, I can live with this. Let's go from here. But 3 out of 4, I'm very happy.
Okay.
But this division is now very much up for grabs. With a 5-game lead with 29 games left, a 4-game series against the team directly behind you.
Wow, I'm surprised at that. I feel very comfortable.
Dude, those Bravos have won 4 straight series. I know like the Nats were in there, Rockies are in there.
They can't play here. It will be fine. I can't believe I'm the guy talking like this.
They got confidence in there playing like underdogs. That's not a good recipe.
Honestly, my confidence comes from if the Braves do take this division, now we're in the exact scenario we've been in, and they get that rest that's so much in their heads.
Yeah, but like after the start that we had, and then to walk in a Walker, I mean, I wouldn't feel good about that.
No, I wouldn't. But hopefully, this team that says, we're postseason tested, every game, we're able, we don't let game to game affect us. We're able to erase and move forward. Hopefully, that's the mindset, and hopefully, it's the mindset starting tonight with the Braves after getting legitimately embarrassed yesterday in front of your home crowd against a team that embarrassed you a couple of years ago in the World Series. Every single one of those guys should have been thinking, maybe extract a little bit of measure of revenge. Instead, they almost repeated the biggest embarrassment from that World Series by getting no hit.
They got 2 out of 3. There's no embarrassment in that. They're 2 out of 3. They won the series.
They lost 10-0.
If you lose 1-0, you lose 10-0. What's the difference?
What's the difference?
Yeah, what's the difference?
Because we want the pitcher of the game DFA'd. That's the difference.
Yeah, so now he will be. Like, he's not coming back. Hey, do you have toppers after the game? Topper sounds like he's at a funeral.
It was okay for the first couple innings, and then he lost finish in the 4th. But there wasn't a whole lot of hard contact early, but 4th there was. But to his credit, he gave us the 5th and 6th. And wanted to go back out there and save the bullpen. So, it was a rough day all the way around in every aspect.
Is there a possibility that he starts again this year?
We got to discuss it.
Tough, baseball. A lot of things going my way right now. So, but the biggest thing is try to keep the confidence, keep going. We got a good team. Offense is really good, and just got to keep trusting in myself.
Does that guy look like he has confidence right now?
I almost feel for him.
Yeah.
It's not his fault he stinks.
How can you not feel for the guy?
But honestly, considering the money he's making, and that's the only reason he's here, it's the only reason he's even in a consideration to potentially start again.
Yeah.
It's the only reason he started yesterday.
Yep.
Why not just try to get 9 out of him? If yesterday was all about let's just save everybody, go get your $18 million. Earn it all in this game. Like, what was the difference? I would have left him out there. I honestly wish Topper would have said I was leaving him in until we got a hit. Well, because who cares?
What are you going to punish Taijuan for the offense not hitting?
Yes.
Come on.
I'm punishing the team.
Bill.
If the whole, we have no confidence if Taijuan Walker is going to take the mound. Well, guess what? You've blown it. He's staying.
I don't think you're.
I'm punishing everybody.
I don't think
for
you're
that.
aware of that. It's just oozes a funk energy. Everyone's just like, "Oh, I'm having a bad day." They're not saying, "Ah, we're screwed." But look, the man, you got to give Taijuan credit. He did the old seppuku, the old Japanese take his sword in the gut. He's like, "Oh, because if you're having a bad day at work, you just want to get out of work. You're having a bad day at work in front of 35,000 people. You're like, this has to end." It's like, all right, I'll go out for another inning and another inning. It's like,
no, I will give him some credit for going out in the 5th and 6th. Like that was after that 4th inning. Like, I mean, again, I thought it was a joke to leave him in that 4th when it was coming unraveled because you know where this is going. Like this is waving the white flag in the 4th. Like, okay, he saw his way through with some double plays and he got some ground balls and everything. But once it starts to come unraveled, this is Taijuan. He has absolutely no ability to like overcome that. You leave him in. All right, well, you have now waved the white flag.
And it's fine to put him out there at some of these summer games, right? But now we're getting into some important baseball. Can we really trust him out there in the start? So Monday is an off day. That would be the 5th day, right? That's when we would expect him to be out there. It's an off day. So we probably don't have to worry about that on this upcoming Monday. But going forward, do we really rely on Taijuan Walker for a start?
He can't possibly go out.
I agree with you.
with he'll go to the bullpen. Roster's expanding. Got to bring up another starter. And another bat. But people were killing Taijuan last night on post-game shows and stuff. And
that's how we are, man.
Like he's like in his comments, what's he supposed to say? He has to say things are going better. He's got a little bit of confidence. The guy's trying to come back at some point next year, I would think.
He's a bum.
I mean, we all know that's the way he's feeling. Flyers in 7 is like an after-school special. We have to talk about Ty.
And no, again, it all comes down to the money, and that to me isn't a valid excuse when it's the owner is giving interviews saying, "Well, yeah, man, I spend because this is what it takes to win, and you got to do it for all those people, and I want my damn trophy back," and all that stuff. You can't possibly let him go out there again. You're paying him. I mean, in a pennant race, in the playoffs, he ain't even going to be on the postseason roster again. Like that's a foregone conclusion.
Right.
You're paying him not to pitch either way. And if he does pitch, what's he going to go 3? What is the point? You're paying him to stink or not pitch regardless. So just don't pitch. You can't let him go back out there.
Why don't we put ourselves in the situation in Philadelphia? Like, we just went through this with Tobias Harris. I feel like these guys who make so much money, we're just so tired of their play.
It is maybe one of the downfalls of having all this information, like knowing what everyone makes and having like, okay, this is what he gets paid, like per at bat and per pitch and everything. Like, if we didn't know that, we might not hate him as much.
Yeah,
and just be like, oh, here's our 5th starter who stinks. Most 5th starters stink. But since it's like, oh no, we signed him on an upside deal thinking we could turn him the way we did Zach Wheeler. Like, look, we took him from middle of the pack to an ace. Maybe we can turn him into a middle of the rotation starter. It's like, no, he's actually worse now, and we're paying him $18 million.
Well, our 5th starter stinks, and he makes more than the whole Marlins team.
He's
$4 million more than the entire Marlins payroll.
You could probably buy the Athletics at this point. Like, maybe that's his play. Just release him, give him his money, and he just goes and buys himself a team.
Moves
so that he can continue to be a professional. But there's
the numbers coming out yesterday was just like. He faced 28 batters, 27 put the ball in the play, 93 pitches, only 2 whiffs.
That's borderline. That's impressive. Like that's almost as impressive as going like 6-7 no hit.
Right.
Like it's less likely. Like going 6 innings, not striking anyone out, giving up 13 hits. Like. It is a sport. It's a random sport.
People go to the Hall of Fame because of that.
It's 9 against 1. Like, typically, you hit it right at a guy.
Right.
13 hits, no strikeouts. That's borderline impossible. Honestly, it's one of the great pitching performances of all time in terms of Hall of Shame.
Oh, yeah. Like, the hardest thing in sports is to hit a baseball.
They did it 13 times. No problem whatsoever.
They only missed it twice out of 93 pitches.
Like, it was either a walk or a hit. Like, good luck. He did induce a few ground ball double plays that probably, considering they lost 10-0, it could have been a lot worse.
It feels like when we were doing the trade deadline show for the Flyers and we got Eric Johnson. Like, how does Eric Johnson not get a single assist? Like, stick a stick out or something.
Just throw the puck up to someone and it bounced in. Like, come on, you didn't get one. And that's exactly like a strikeout. Like, It's 2024.
I know,
There's 3
dude.
outcomes, and you didn't get one of them through 6 innings. That's borderline impossible. It is truly Hall of Shame stuff.
You go back to the last time a Phillies pitcher got 13 hits with no strikeouts. Is Block Donnelly in 1948 and Boom Boom Beck in 1943.
Dude, what a name!
We're going to like World War II era
Almost
stuff.
100 years ago.
Like, yeah, it's things that like you look at the record books and go like, I don't know, this is pre-color TV. Did it even happen?
Right.
Like, there's no proof of it. It's just a box score.
It's a lie.
Yeah, like you could have just made this up. There was no game played that day. Someone just wrote some stuff down.
Yeah, Boom Boom Beck sounds like a fiend.
If you're a pitching coach, like, what are you thinking in the dugout watching that happen?
Yeah,
oh my God.
Cannot be loving this.
All right, we got to. I think we have to take a second and pay some bills.
That's right. All right, so listen, guys. Obviously, we know Taijuan Walker. He ain't got all the tools in the shed. All right, but you can have all the tools in the shed with our friends over at Ace Hardware. And as you guys all know, recently married, and we're not just yet at football season, right? So I still got the honey to-do list. I still got things to do around the house. My wife yesterday was like, babe, the grass out front's getting too long. And I'm like, I got it. That's the weekend job, all right? Because, hon, I'm going to go to Ace Hardware. I'm going to get a couple more things, and I'm going to leave your lawn spectacular. Just trust me on that one, all right? But that's what Ace is for. They got everything you need for inside and outside the house. And even better, look, if you have, a leaky pipe, or listen, you need some paint inside the house, a paint job inside the house, whatever it may be, Ace Hardware can get you a professional that'll do it for you. So if you want to spend a little extra, have someone do it, you can do that there as well. Right now, guys, visit Ace Hardware Home Services online, www.acehardwarehomeservices.com, to get your next project started here today. Again, acehardwarehomeservices.com. You can even find your local Ace Hardware as well. And as they always say, Ace is the place with the helpful hardware folks, VJ.
Love those folks. And I do not love allergies. And it's always allergy season here in the Philadelphia area. It's fall allergy season, and they start as early as August, and they last well into November. And what causes these allergies? The main culprits are dust mites, pet dander, fur, Taijuan Walker, plants such as sagebrush, tumbleweed, and the dreaded pigweed. So when these allergens hit your nose and your body, your immune goes crazy, you're releasing histamines, and you start wheezing, runny nose, itchy, watery eyes, and you got to get those histamines under control with some antihistamines. What can you do to get allergy relief during this allergy season? Well, sign up for Rite Aid Rewards. Emails at riteaid.com rewards to receive email pollen alerts for your area. They'll even alert you when Taijuan Walker's about to make a start. Use a dehumidifier to get rid of dust mites and mold, and shower frequently, unlike skeeves.
I did today.
Nice.
Hey.
Check your pollen counts. Their over-the-counter options are available at your local Rite Aid. Try a nasal rinse to flush out the nasal passages when your symptoms are flaring up. Get the antihistamines such as Claritin or Zyrtec, and you can also try those wonderful nasal corticosteroids like Flonase and Nasacort. And Rite Aid's got all this stuff in their own brand name, and they are a little cheaper and just as good. Still not enough relief? Ask a Rite Aid pharmacist if a different type of allergy medication like a decongestant might be necessary. And you can always ask your Rite Aid pharmacist for recommendations on other ways to get relief during the dreaded allergy season.
Tremendous work. JP, this is why I call you the star of the Anthony Gargano Show. Segue, spot on. We're going to transition to the Eagles in just a minute. We have Zach Berman coming up around 9:30. But just one more thing that just bothered the hell out of me in yesterday's game. Now, granted, it didn't seem like the Phillies were in it. Their heads weren't in the game, starting with Harper in the first inning. Maybe that excuses the fans for their heads not being in the game. You have seats front row on the railing, in the outfield, perfect home run territory. Season ticket,
I know exactly
season ticket area. This can't possibly be your first time sitting there. Why are you leaning over the rail, especially for an Astros home run?
Bartman was in Philly last night?
What are you doing? There's a whole 30 for 30 about this. It's one of the most notorious stories in the history of sports. That railing is a force field. All you have to do is not cross the railing. It is a very simple thing.
Yes.
What is he doing?
This should be simple. They do it for dogs. Like if you cross the line, you get electrocuted. There should be some buzz happens when your body crosses.
The railing should be electrified.
Yes. With a force field that goes like 4 feet high.
Yeah.
You go through it.
I mean, you're right. If you're going to sit there, you've gone to more than a couple of baseball games. You should know. Like, that's like an unwritten rule. You don't lean over. I don't get that.
That kind of thing absolutely drives me insane.
Nuts.
Like, what do we do? We're the smart ones. You know how we always brag? We're Phillies fans. We know the games. We're smart fans. That's worse than like throwing snowballs to me. Like because that's funny. Who doesn't love throwing snowballs? Fan interference, especially on an Astros. There's no reason to be. I want this.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
It's idiotic.
You should be up against the rail trying to be a backstop. Be like, no, that's a double. Like
I don't
absolutely
understand it at all.
drives me
grind
freaking.
your gears.
Yes, it is the epitome of the grind.
I hope they
my
booed
gears.
that person in that section.
Who this person?
I thought you'd get kicked out for that.
I would think you would get kicked out. You should be kicked out.
Yeah, you should be kicked out. 100%.
I just saw him
Interfering with
sitting
the
there. I
ball
was like,
play.
I've been kicked out of nicer places than this for less. Like, it's just a bad game yesterday. Hopefully, it is just one of these one and done throwaways. Taijuan was on the mound, so it doesn't actually count.
Yes.
But this is a huge freaking series.
I'm usually pretty nervous about this stuff, but I didn't have the anxiety that there's a chance they might be one game ahead after this series. I just figure we'll be up by 5 or 6 at the end of the series.
I hope you're right.
There's no the Sale's not pitching. We got our pitches ready to go. I don't know. I feel pretty
themselves
good.
over in Atlanta.
Holiday weekend coming. Oh, Bill, dragging me down.
Listen, I want to have confidence in this team. I feel as if, they lose a World Series to the Astros in which they get no hit at home, and we said nothing. Hell of a season. You got it as a wild card. They lose games 6 and 7 at home in the NLCS. I was like, all right, you know what? We'll get them next year. Sometimes that's baseball. At a certain point, we have to be worried about this team because they have come up, while we've had, over the last couple of years, some great moments. Ultimately, it ends in disappointment. And when I hear JT saying this team is built to win a World Series, that is the standard. The standard for this team is championship or failure.
Yes.
That starts with this series against the Braves. Beat the team that is your closest competition. Your first step is that division title.
Yeah, screw those Bravos.
Let's put this away. Win 3 out of 4, and now it is an insurmountable lead with 25 games left. You split, you only win 1. Now the division is very much up for grabs, and you're the team that all the pressure is on.
Can't wait.
So tonight's the game. You get a nice game out of Sanchez tonight because Ranger, he looked good, but you're still concerned. And then you got your 2 studs coming up. So tonight's the big game. So we'll be at the watch party.
Hey.
Pounding dollar beers with the Phillies crew.
See you, Top
Tomato.
Tomato.
It'll be, come out to that watch party. It's going to be a great time. It's a Top Tomato.
Could be great. I mean, it should be great.
Our events are always fun, regardless of the outcome.
Yeah.
If
not, Jamie will probably sell
dollar beers.
jokes.
Yeah, dollar beers. That's fun no matter what.
Yes.
This next segment is presented by BetParks Sportsbook. We are going to transition to the Phils now, and where are we going from here?
Zachariah?
Yeah, we have Zach coming up in just a little bit, but I do want to transition to the Eagles. I heard you guys talking some birds yesterday.
Oh yeah.
What do we think of this roster cut down, specifically the one guy we all thought wasn't coming back, James Bradberry?
That's a great segue, huh? From Taijuan to James Bradberry.
Just
stud after stud.
Goats in the old definition of goat. Guys, we just want to blame for everything.
Yeah, I mean, I feel good about this roster. I mean, obviously, offensively, you love the weapons that we have. You might have some question marks in the interior with the right guard position or just the depth at center, but those skill players, I mean, we talked about it. It's the best we've seen in Eagles history. Defense, obviously, that's where more of the concerns are. They're just like a lot of promising pieces, but not a lot that you can feel very confident about. Now, Vic Fangio does instill a little more confidence in me, but I think defensively, that's where the question marks lie more into.
All right, now to talk us through some of these points with the Eagles, we have PHLY's own Zach Berman joining us.
Woo!
How you doing today, Zach? Back-to-back days.
Doing great. Good to see you, Bill.
Good to see you as well. Zach, I just gotta lead off with, we are always entrenched in the trenches here. It's the thing that we've been taught is the most important thing. And the offensive line, it's been this Eagles team's strength for years. It's been their calling card since the Andy Reid days. With a reconfiguration in Jason Kelce's absence, we have some guys moving around, a lot of players playing next to dudes they've never played next to before. How's the chemistry? Is chemistry a concern for this O-line coming into the season?
It's a reasonable question. I don't think it's a concern as long as the top 5 are healthy. I think where it would be more of a concern, especially if Cam Jurgens went down. Right? Cam Jurgens, he's a first-time starter at center, but he's been here for 3 years. He's a 2-year starter for the. He started last year. Lane Johnson's been here going on to year 12. Jordan Mailata's been here since 2019. Lander Dickerson since 2021, right? So there's a lot of continuity, and it's the same offensive line coach, Jeff Stoutland, since 2013. So there's a lot of continuity in place. But if one guy goes down, the chemistry is a question there. The other thing, and I'm glad you brought this up, is because like there's so much attention being paid to losing Jason Kelce, the leader, and I get that. But I don't think enough attention is being paid to losing Jason Kelce, the football player. Like, if you lose an all-pro center, even if Cam Jurgens is really good, there's still a delta between what Jason Kelce was and what Cam Jurgens is. And I think that because Jason was like such a great personality and like this iconic figure in Philly, that gets more of the attention than the fact that he was a damn good football player, and they're going to miss that part of it as well.
Given the big names on offense, like we all know, this is an all-pro offense at the skill-making positions. You still have Lane Johnson as well. You have some guys on the offensive line, all-pros. A lot of people's concerns are on the defensive side of the ball. You need a lot of young players to step up on the D-line, especially. What's your level of concern with like Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter taking on bigger roles? Josh Sweat needing to bounce back. Bryce Huff probably needing to play more than 40% of the snaps. Nolan Smith still being like an unknown. Does this team have enough on the defensive side of the trenches?
Well, they certainly have a lot of questions, right? The fact that you were able to rattle those off shows that there are unknowns here. Now, I would be confident in Jalen Carter. I think Jalen Carter is going to be one of the best defensive linemen in the NFL this year. I don't think that's hyperbole to say. That's not, because I watch the Eagles every day. That's just, you look at the talent level, you look at the opportunity. He's really good, and I think he's going to take that step up. I'm not concerned about the higher workload for him. I think he's prepared for that. But some of those other questions you had, I think are legitimate, things that we need to figure out. In particular, can Bryce Huff be a top edge rusher as opposed to a situational edge rusher? Can Josh Sweat bounce back? I mean, from the middle of 2022 to the middle of 2023, Josh Sweat was top 5 in the league in sacks, and he went blank there, late last year. I think he's 27 years old. It's not like he's old even by football standards. He's got loads of talent. He's got to put together. This is the first time he's really in a contract year. I think that when you look at Nolan Smith, a lot of questions there too. I wouldn't necessarily count on him having a huge role, but he's going to have a role. And then you mentioned Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis, when he's on, I think he's going to play at a high level. But the question about conditioning is legit there, because I'm not concerned about how Jordan Davis looks on August 29th or September 6th. It's more, what does he look like November 6th and December 29th? And, that's to be determined.
Zach, it was a surprise to a lot of people that James Bradberry's still here after the rosters get announced. Everything, the 53-man is set for now. But there's a couple of things still up in the air. Are you expecting Bradberry to still be around when, say, like Sidney Brown returns?
That would surprise me. I would think Bradberry might be the first guy on the chopping block, if you will. There's not the financial obligation. It's the same. If you cut him or you keep him, you're paying the same, right? Because it's guaranteed money there. So I think at that point it's an opportunity cost. And when Sidney Brown's ready to come back, he's on the shelf at least 4 weeks. My guess is he takes the spot of a safety. So unless there are injuries at that point, you're looking at Tristan McCollum or James Bradberry, and my guess is Bradberry would be sooner to go, just from an age perspective, and I imagine a special teams contribution perspective.
Just listening to you and Anthony talk yesterday about the lack of depth on this seemingly top-heavy roster, and we all love having these stars, especially on offense, but it seems like kind of a change over the last couple of years to just focus on the tippy top of the roster. Like, I look back at 2017 and think about a team that not only lost QB1, but its left tackle. It replaced its left guard, lost its kicker, lost Darren Sproles, lost the middle linebacker. It was the depth that propelled them to the only Super Bowl in team history. You think this is a sustainable way to build a roster?
It's a really good question. I'm not saying, some people say good question to buy time. I'm not even doing it to buy time. Like, I'm saying that here because it goes, it's a big conversation about roster building, right? And the way the Eagles look at it, the way Howie Roseman's looking at it is that, so I'll give you the succinct answer. The succinct answer is it's a good way to build a roster if you draft well. And the reason is because then you have inexpensive players on cost-controlled contracts. If you if you draft a guy in the 4th round and he's a starter for you, he's on a 4-year contract at a small price, and then you're able to pay 2 wide receivers top of the market money. You're able to pay 3 offensive linemen top of the market money, right? Now, the problem is this. If you don't draft well, if you're missing on picks, then those guys that you're counting on to be contributors on rookie contracts, you don't have that, and that's really when you're in a crunch. So I think that it is a good way to build a team if you have proper long-term planning, and the Eagles have done a good job. And, there's a lot talked about there, how they push money down the line. It's not that they push money down the line. They pay big bonuses up front, right? And then they can spread the bonuses out. But the player's getting the cash up front, and then they can spread the bonus out. So it requires Jeffrey Lurie to put out a lot of cash early. But I think that if you're smart about how you allocate those resources, you identify the players that you're paying. If you're paying A.J. Brown A+ money, that's a good situation. If you're paying James Bradbury A- money or B+ money, that's not a good situation when he's not performing. So you have to be smart about where you're giving the contracts. But look, if you have a core of Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, Jalen Carter's going to get paid at some point, right? Going forward here, I think that's a really good foundation.
Hey, Zach, center, tight end look thin. If there's an injury at center, is it something where like Dickinson moves over to center and they bring up like a Gates or a McMahon to play a guard? Do you think that's their thinking right now?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out because I do think they're going to bring up a Nick Gates. He's a veteran, started in Washington, started with the Giants. I think he'll be the backup interior lineman on game day. Now, if Cam Jurgens were to go down for, let's say, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, knowing Jeff Stoutland, he does not like to shuffle a few spots there. He'd rather do a 1-for-1 swap than 2 guys. But you have to have the best 5 out there. I think Landon Dickerson, I would rather him at left guard and put someone else at center. But this is the situation they're in when you don't have kind of that established backup center, and that's why Cam Jurgens' health is going to be so important. My guess is it would be Nick Gates or Dylan McMahon. They got him through the practice squad. If he develops. He's a natural center, but he's smaller than Gates. But this is why Cam Jurgens is one of the more indispensable players. As far as tight end, yeah, I mean, I really think that if Dallas Goedert goes down, which he has in the past few years, you kind of grin and bear it. That you have your Grant Calcaterra, Jack Stoll's on practice squad, EJ Jenkins is on practice squad. We'll see if they add anyone. But then that tight end becomes the 5th option in the passing game, and probably really it doesn't have much of a featured role. So, when you talk about the depth on this team, you see spots where the backup is not at the same level or is not near the same level of the starter, and those starters become even more indispensable.
Zach, real quick, I'll stay on Stoutland there because I want to talk about Stoutland U. Obviously, so famous throughout the league there. I stumbled upon the story with Fred Johnson, talking about how he was on his way out of the league last year, and he was really stubborn and stuck in his ways. And Jeff Stoutland was really found a way to kind of connect with him, and just kind of talk about Jeff Stoutland and his characteristics, and just like how players just trust him. Like how does he gain the trust of these players and connect with them?
Yeah, it's a great question because it gets to the essence of coaching. And honestly, in being around the Eagles locker room now for 13 years, covering the NFL for 15 years, players are all different, but they're going to respond to coaches who make them better, right? Because I kind of find that players want really 2 things. They want to win, and they want to make money, right? They want to advance in their career, do well, support their family, right? And Jeff Stoutland can help you with both. So if he's going to he can maximize a player, and we've seen there's a lot of he's done a great job developing guys like Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey, right? But those guys probably would have been great anywhere they went. It's really when you see some of the journeyman players who come here and have he rebuilds them. He can identify what specifically with the player that how he can maximize them. His techniques are different than some other O-line coaches' techniques, so it's a matter of retraining them. In the case of Fred Johnson, which you referred to, Fred Johnson was on the verge of being out of the league, and he said a big thing with Jeff Stoutland was that Jeff Stoutland just believed in him. Jeff Stoutland would tell him, "I'm not giving up on you," right? And now, look, it helps to be 6'7", 330. I mean, if Jeff Stoutland didn't give up on me, I wouldn't be a good left tackle. But the reality is that Jeff Stoutland, he's so passionate about his players. I had a real good conversation last year with Jeff Stoutland about Lane Johnson when he was the Man of the Year candidate for the Eagles, and hearing the emotion in Jeff Stoutland's voice. He's talking about how Jeff Stoutland spends more time with Lane Johnson over the past decade than his wife, his kids, right? He's around him all the time, and he's seen Lane Johnson go through a lot of stuff off the field, right? And it's not a coach-player relationship. I don't want to say it's a father-son thing, because that kind of belittles the fathers in the life, but it's such a human, personal relationship that Jeff Stoutland builds with these O-linemen.
Hey, Zach, I read a piece where, you were saying, we're saying here, I know I rip on Nick a bunch, but we're saying, Nick's the CEO of the Eagles right now, like a Tomlin or a Harbaugh. And a lot of those guys, they were basically saying the practice schedule, the game day analytics here in Philadelphia are more made on an organizational level, not on a head coach level. And the end premise was the Eagles are trying to win a Super Bowl with as little head coach involvement as possible. Do you think that's a fair statement?
No, I don't think that's a fair statement. But I think it's I would say, look, it's a fair question to ask. I would say the Eagles model is more close to what you see in Major League Baseball or even the NBA than what you typically see in the NFL, in that I think it's a front office centric organization. In that, I think there's a lot that comes from up top in terms of obviously personnel, Howie has final say on personnel. But even when you talk about the medical staff with the practice schedule, with load management, things of that nature, the data, the data and the analytics that are used for some of the decision making, whether it be game days or roster decisions. This is not a coach-centric organization. This is not like Bill Belichick being in charge of the whole building. This is not Sean McVay, and wielding the power that he has often. So I don't think that, if they win, it's despite the coach, because I think part of what makes it work is Nick's personality, and Nick's job is to manage this locker room, manage the game day decisions, coach the coaches. But it is accurate to say that Nick doesn't have the power that a lot of other coaches have.
And I think the question all of us want to know is, what are you preparing for your flight to Brazil? Are you loading up some TV series, movies? What do you do?
Yeah.
You read a book?
I just got the game tape.
Yeah. So, JP hit on the head. If it's week 3, I'd be watching a lot of game film, right? But week 1, I'm not watching that third preseason game again, right? So I can promise you that. So there's a few stories I'll be wrapping up for allphly.com. Then I have a book that I'm excited to read, Ian O'Connor's book on Aaron Rodgers. That's loaded up. But what I'm not a good sleeper. All right, anyone who watches the PHLY Eagles show knows I need to work on sleep. And the flight, at least the flight's an overnight flight. So I'm on the Miami to Sao Paulo is 10 hours overnight. If I don't sleep on that flight, then I won't be able to do anything the next day. So I got to figure out how I can sneak 5-6 hours in on that flight. So if you have any suggestions, I am all ears, and I might need to be a little more creative than I usually am going.
I mean, obviously you'll be on the first class with the PHLY budget, so you'll be able to probably spread out on a pod, like flat and rest and relax.
Hey, please let Vince know that I'll be lucky if I'm not in like the middle of the middle section, right? But no, I'm pumped to be going down there.
Zach, I think you already hit the nail on the head. Like, watch that third preseason game if you need help sleeping. Boom. Kill two birds with one stone. Thanks a lot for joining us today. Appreciate it, Zach. And good luck in Brazil.
I appreciate it. Good talking to you guys.
Thanks, Zach.
It's always great to hear from Zach Berman.
Always the best.
Where are we with this team? Right? Like, is this expectation Super Bowl or bust for this team? Like, I know from a fan's perspective, every single year it is. And whenever you're paying a quarterback top of the line money, that should be your expectation. But is this a Super Bowl team in your mind?
It's tough.
Are they the class of the NFC?
You know what's messing me up is that this roster looks pretty good overall, and then you look at the rest of the NFC, it's not very daunting. So that's why I feel like, the Super Bowl this year, but I don't feel Super Bowl or bust.
Yeah, for me, I think they're going to be a really good regular season team, win a division, 10-11 wins, and I think they're going to struggle in the playoffs a little bit. I think their defense has way too many questions. And I read a piece today. Fangio has not had a top 10 defense. He's had it once in the last 8 years. So with all these young question marks and stuff, I don't know. I think the playoffs are going to be a struggle.
Well, maybe we'll get to some futures conversation with our next guest. As I mentioned, this show is presented by BetPark Sports and Casino. And now we have our pro sports betting analyst from MCS Philly and BetParks joining us right now. It's Brad Feinberg. How you doing today?
What's going on, guys? How are you today?
Very well, very well. Brad, if you don't know, I'm one of the hockey guys here at PHLY. That's my thing. I host a daily Flyers show, and so selfishly, I'm going to lead off today's gambling conversation with some NHL thoughts.
Yeah.
I'm going to get some hockey futures in. I've got a little bit on the Calder Trophy and everything, but that's where I'm going to start today, looking at these NHL futures markets. The Calder Memorial Trophy. Flyers' own Matvei Michkov coming in at plus 350. He's the favorite right now. First overall pick, Mac on Celebrini, plus 450. Cutter Gauthier, 5-1. Logan Stankoven, 5-1. Have you looked at this market at all? You spreading anything around here?
Not on that particular market, although just as a side note, when I saw Cutter Gauthier at the 5-1 area, he'll be the new JD Drew, at least to me, in terms of Philadelphia and whatnot. No, but I did make a couple. It's funny, a long shot bet. I actually think Utah is going to be a solid team that can make the playoffs. And I think that they could be a team that maybe is a little bit under the radar, that's better than people maybe are expecting. That's a team that I put some money on a couple different things, long shot kind of bets. But I think that's going to be a team that's better, that's a little bit better than people are expecting. Look, hockey right now, in my opinion, guys, the parity in the NHL is unbelievable. I mean, unbelievable. You have, and hockey's the one sport, almost, I think you would agree with me, out of the 16 teams that make the playoffs, probably 14 of them can win the Stanley Cup. I mean, it's really that hard and close, these games, and it's just a matter of how it goes. Look, from a Flyers point of view, I thought last year they showed and I was ecstatic with the season. I don't know if you agree, from where they were, and at least they showed them, they were up until the way in terms of making the playoffs. Hopefully it'll be a little bit of an improvement this year. But look, I did not dip myself into the Calder Trophy. Tell me, who did you like? I'm curious, which guy, if you're I'm always looking to learn about anything, so talk to me.
Because I want it to happen, maybe I thought I could will it into existence, made a bet with my heart on Matvei Michkov. And then, of course, to make that, to hedge it a little bit, it's going to be Cutter Gauthier, obviously, because he is the new JD Drew. That's exactly how it's going to go. Those are the things I'm looking at. But I'm very interested in if you're looking at the Stanley Cup futures. If you said you're maybe looking more at long shots, teams to make the playoffs, as deeper prices. You mentioned Utah first year out of Arizona, and I do think they have an owner who's going to be interested in trying to make them relevant right away, because that's how you ingratiate yourself to a new market. Is there anything else in the NHL futures market you're looking at?
I mean,
make the
look,
playoffs?
I think Nashville is improved an incredible amount, but it got priced. It used to be, and it's funny, one of the biggest differences I've seen is it used to be years ago with these sports books, I would say when free agency hit, they were not very good at adjusting. When a team like Nashville really improved themselves in the offseason, Nashville would have been 40-1 to win the cup. Now they're like, I think around 18-1. Like they've adjusted, like they've gotten much better at adjusting to the news. It didn't used to be that way. Look, I will say this. I still think Edmonton's going to be really, really tough. I think they just have such a good infrastructure in terms of what they do, where barring injuries to, Connor McDavid or Draisaitl, I really would be surprised if they're not right there. But again, the odds are baked in, and they're, around 8-1 or so.
8-1, I'm looking at, yeah.
I'm looking right here. Yeah, Edmonton's plus 350 to win the West. I mean, it's just a really, really tough ask, 8-1 to win the cup. Look, Florida's gotten there, multiple years in a row. I don't think Florida will necessarily do it again. Obviously, they've had a great run of it here. But it's interesting. I didn't see much value in terms of, like, as I've seen in the past, in terms of teams, just doing it. Again, a team that I do think is a long shot that I do like is Utah. They're 30-1 to win the West. Not saying I think they can make that kind of leap, but I'm not sure if Parks has odds to make the playoffs. If they do, I'm going to maybe look at that. I would consider making a bet on Utah to make the playoffs, because I think they will be one of the top 8 teams in the West.
I want to change gears here a little bit. We started the show talking about a big 4-game series that the Phillies kick off with the Braves tonight. Huge. And I'm looking, I said to start the show, I think the division is up for grabs, and it starts this weekend. And I'm looking at this NL East price. Phils have 5-game lead coming into this 4-game set, and they're still big favorites, minus 2,500. You can get the Braves at like 10-1 to win the NL East. Any play on the division you think is worth making?
No, I mean, I'm not laying 25-1, but here's the thing. If you like the Braves, like you say, I would much rather bet the Braves in these 4 games that are coming up, because you can, let's just think of it like this. You're only getting 10-1, right, to win the division. Is that what was it, 10-1 you said?
Yes.
Okay.
10, yeah.
If you bet them in this series, it's a 4-game series, I believe. If you bet them 4 games and they go 3-1, you're going to make a nice profit. And they're still going to be down by 3 games and a huge underdog. You're not making 10-1, but you're still going to make a very nice profit. And if you choose to bet them to win the division after that, you still can. Even if they go 2-2, you'll make a profit. But if they go 2-2, to me, their odds, again, that's not your 5-1, the 10-1 odds you're getting probably can be a little bit higher, because they just lost 4 games. They had a chance to move up on the Phillies. I would rather attack it that way, just betting the Braves individually. I think the Phillies probably are at least 90% to win this division, 5 games with only about 32 games or so left. It's going to be hard, but the X factor is they do get the head-to-head. So if they just get hot and beat them in these games, then obviously they can do it. But I think the Phillies avoid Sale, which was very big. Sale pitched last night. So I think from their point of view, avoiding him is a really big thing.
I can't believe I even heard the words, if you like the Braves or you want to bet the Braves.
No.
That's not you, Brad. This guy over here has got me thinking the Braves are running away with the division.
No, I don't like the Braves. No, let me say, I do not like the Braves. I do not like the Braves. I'm saying if you like the Braves in general, if someone watching the show likes the Braves, I'd rather see you, instead of taking the odds to win the division, I'd rather see you just bet the Braves individually against the Phillies. I think you'll get a better payout that way. And also, again, if you even go 2-2 or better, you're going to make a profit. And if they go 1-3, you're withdrawing debt anyway. They're going to be down by 7 games. They have no chance. So I'd rather see you do that and make a profit, and then you could reevaluate if you still want to bet the division after that.
So, Brad, we saw you were out and about last night, it looked like, on Instagram stories, or the night before. Dad's birthday?
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
Hey,
yes,
happy birthday, Papa Brain.
Yeah,
nice.
That's my dad. Yeah, it's my dad. Yeah,
you look good, Brad. I was like, let me see. Is there anything I can bust his stones about? I was like, no, you look good.
Yeah,
Hair's nice, outfit's sharp. You look good.
80, I appreciate that, man. Every now and then. 84th birthday for my dad.
Oh,
His
nice.
birthday was yesterday. Great man. So I'm very fortunate to have both my parents. They were still like sharp as a tack. So I feel very, very lucky. And we had a nice dinner. I came into Philly for the event. VG came. Came in.
Where'd you go?
And had a really nice time. And it was a really nice night.
Where were you?
Well, a White Dog Cafe.
Oh yeah, nice little farm to table action.
Exactly. I had a good I had a good meal there and had a nice time. But again, it was really nice getting to spend especially now I really take spending birthdays with my parents like very
Is Versace settled in at Vandy there, Brad?
What's that?
Is Versace settled in at Vandy?
Oh, no. He's always having a great time. He's having a great time. Let me tell you something. Isn't that school, man? I love Michigan, but man, Vanderbilt looked really nice. I got to tell you, I really liked it. I liked the campus a lot. It was really nice. I think he's having a great time. I really like that area. By the way, you guys been to Nashville?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty cool place, and I really liked it. And he's having a good time. I'll definitely let him know you say hello.
Oh yeah.
And did you guys play him in Madden where he was like?
He beat Jamie here. He got whooped by Jamie. He said he could beat Jamie with Kennesaw State, and Jay gave Jamie Georgia. He got smoked. Yeah, Versace talked a little too much trash. He couldn't back it up.
Yeah, no, I know. He is actually pretty good at that game.
Yeah. Can we get serious now? Everybody's favorite college quarterback, General Booty. There's a little reverse line movement here. I want to get your opinion on ULM. They started out -6.5. The whole world seems to be on Jackson State. Now they're -7.5. Should we ride General Booty?
I'm not going to talk about that game. Don't know enough about that game. I will say it's an interesting game. There is an interesting game in terms of some line movement. Charlotte, they said, could be missing 9 starters, guys, in their game.
From what?
9. It's a big number against James Madison. The line is yeah. I think the line is around 9.5.
What's happened to all their players?
It's funny. The coach, I read the article. The coach said, now that we're playing James Madison, because they've obviously had success, James Madison. He goes, I pushed the guys so hard in our camp. He goes, everyone's hurt. It's like we have no one to play. So I mean, that's just an interesting potential thing to look at in terms of the Jacksonville State Coastal Carolina game. I mean,
Louisiana Monroe. It's Jackson State, Louisiana.
I'm sorry. You said Monroe. Yeah.
We're gonna need a General Booty update every Friday or something.
Look, you gotta love the name.
Yeah.
You gotta love the name. That much is for sure. But who did you guys think of tonight's Phillies game? Obviously, good matchup. Charlie Morton to me, like just that veteran guy that just.
They're gonna beat Charlie Morton. No, they're gonna smack him around tonight.
Yeah, bounce back.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to think so. Sanchez, big spot for him. Look, the Braves, I give them credit. I wrote them off, and I've been betting their under-season wins, and they've shoving it right up my you-know-what recently. Braves have been hot. They've been playing well again, and you know why? Again, they've gotten a lot of their hitters back. Their lineup has improved. Michael Harris is back, who's been one of their best players who's been out for months.
Just stop, Brad. Stop. There's a lot of Braves fear here. Stop it. You're just going to fuel it.
No, I think the Phillies are going to win. I do. I do think the Phillies are going to win.
Hope so, Brad.
I will tell you, a game I do like, guys. Sometimes things just, to me, aren't that complicated. The Chicago White Sox, death, taxes, the White Sox lose by 2+ runs. Can we agree?
Yeah.
Those are the 3 things that we can say for sure happen in this universe. Nate Eovaldi, very solid pitcher. You could lay a run and a half laying $1.50 on Parks. Again, that's saying that happens 3 out of 5 times. I will dare the White Sox to stay within a run on any team, especially against a really good pitcher like Eovaldi. I'll take my chances in that. And then I got a pretty good data bet for you guys. Sonny Gray, 24 starts this year, 4.5 strikeouts. He's 23-1 to the over. 23-1. Now, this is like the immovable objects against the unmovable force. He's going against the Padres. The Padres just do not strike out.
Yep.
But Gray's averaging 7.5 strikeouts. They lowered him 3 strikeouts to 4.5. I bit. I swore I would never go against the Padres in a strikeout bet the rest of the year after I lost Mitch Keller. I lied. And I took Sonny Gray over 4.5 strikeouts because I'm like, he averages 7.5. I just would have made it 5.5. So we'll see what happens. Tomorrow on these airwaves, I'll take my chances.
Brad, thank you for joining us. Thank you for at least trying to put my mind at ease about the NL East a little bit. Very much appreciated.
The Phillies are fine.
Okay. Phillies are fine. I'm taking your word for it. Taking it to the bank. Might lay that minus 2,500 just because of it.
I wouldn't do that. But,
I figured. Thanks a lot, Brad. Very much appreciate you joining us today. And that was brought to you by Bet Parks. And before we get to our next guest, I think we got to go to our own General Booty over here. That was your nickname in college, wasn't it, JP?
Oh yeah. All right, let's talk. We'll stay on football. Let's stay on talking about some of these bets. If you're feeling really lucky, if you feel good about the Phils or, hey, college football this weekend, whatever it may be, consider Bet Parks and their Sportsbook app. Pro football and the Bird season opener is next Friday. Get excited, people. The one and only Sportsbook app I ever recommend is the Bet Parks, and the Bet Parks Sportsbook app and online casino has a great offer for new customers to kick off the upcoming pro football season. An amazing 50-1 odds boost on your pick to win this year's Pro Football Championship. All new users who sign up and make a deposit receive a 50-1 super odds boost. BetParks.com has all the terms and conditions. Get odds boosted to 50-1. Yes, 50-1 odds. Here are the top 6 favorites to win the Pro Football Championship this upcoming season: Kansas City, San Fran, Baltimore, Detroit, Cincy, and the Philadelphia Eagles. Download the Bet Park Sportsbook and online casino app right now and get your 50-1 super odds boost on your pick for this year's Pro Football Championship. This is a limited time offer for new customers only. BetParks.com has terms and conditions. You must be 21 or older, and in PA, New Jersey, Michigan, or Maryland. You play for fun. You love to win. You bet Parks. Gambling problem, ladies and gentlemen, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now is one of my favorite times of the show because I get to tell you about one of my favorite sponsors here at PHLY. That's right. It's our friends at Shady Rays. I wear my Shady Rays every day like I am right now. You got to get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor adventures. They have hundreds of options to choose from, so you're bound to find the perfect pair to match your style. I have a few pairs of Shady Rays. When they mention the crystal clear optics, you know how you can wear a polarized pair of shades sometimes, and if you're looking at like the nav screen or something, looking at your phone, it can mess with your eyes. I'm looking at my computer right now, absolutely no issues reading this, reading everything I got to do next. That's why I love my Shady Rays. Another thing I love about them is this tangle-free feature. You probably noticed, hey, what's this dude wearing his sunglasses on his head for? Well, forgot my hat today. But mostly I love this tangle-free feature. You have the long hair, it's a sunny day, you're going into Wawa. You're like, okay, going in, got to throw the shades up. Well, what happens usually? You're wearing aviators, they have the nose piece. Get stuck in your hair. Suddenly you're pulling your hair out. Not with Shady Rays. Nope. That's what makes Shady Rays different. And they have one of the most insane protections in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by lost or broken replacements. If you don't love your shades, exchange for a new pair or return worry-free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back with personal and fast support. And exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code PHLY for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Now, I got to tell you, this show is brought to you by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. The Anthony Gargano Show is presented by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. Check out TrueMark.com/PHLY or stop into your local branch to learn more about the credit union difference at TrueMark Financial today. And now that all that's out of the way, I get to introduce our next guest. Maybe he can talk me off of the NL East ledge as well. From The Athletic, it is the one and only Matt Gelb. How's it going today, Matt?
Yeah, Matt.
What's up, guys?
What's up? How are you? So, Matt, I saw you tweet last night. Taijuan Walker allowed 13 hits and did not record a strikeout in 6 innings. It's the most hits a Phillies pitcher has allowed since Aaron Harang in 2015. It's the first time a starter went 6 without a strikeout since Ben Lively in 2017. Is there any indication of what happens next time Walker's turn comes up?
I mean, I'd be surprised if he stays in the rotation for these guys. I mean, I think they're at a point here where they have to think about replacing him. And the question is then, okay, if you're replacing him in the rotation, does he stay on the roster? Does he go to the bullpen as kind of a mop-up man? Can he do that? In the past, there's been some questions. Last postseason, they didn't think he'd be able to fill a bullpen role. So does he stay on the roster? And if he doesn't stay on the roster, that would require them to eat roughly $39 million, which is something the Phillies have never done, but other teams have done it. I don't think the money is necessarily standing in the way of a transaction here. I think they have to make a decision whether they think that this is unsalvageable for 2025. There are 2 decisions at play here. The first one is taking him out of the rotation. I think that's going to happen. I'd be really surprised if he makes another start for the Phillies this year. The bigger question then is, can we just hide him for the rest of September on the active roster because we want to give this a shot again next year? And that's a question I think that they're asking themselves right now.
Taijuan, absolutely an issue yesterday. I mean, he has not been good. They've lost his last 9 starts. To me, this team goes as Bryce Harper goes. He is that straw that stirs the drink. Since July 23rd, 3 home runs, 11 RBI, OPS of 668, 11 walks to 34 Ks. Yeah, the story of yesterday is Walker. But is it maybe shielding the team's best player from his abysmal performance at the plate yesterday? Not to mention his mental lapse that allowed the first run of the game to score?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because, obviously there's a lot of focus on Walker, but, I mean, this is a regular season problem only. I mean, this guy is not going to be on the postseason roster. He was never going to be on the postseason roster. They have 4 good starters ahead of him. And, yeah, I mean, there are other issues, I think, that are probably worth focusing on more. And it's funny because, they had been playing really well. I mean, they just had won 2 in a row against the Royals, 2 in a row against the Astros, 2 really good teams. The Royals right now are maybe playing the best baseball out of any team at the top in the American League. So, one day, one bad day, and it was a really bad day. I mean, they were no hit for 7 innings, and they were never in the game. I do think it's not worth overreacting, but I think, Bill, to your bigger point about some of the offensive struggles for some of these guys, Alec Boehm of late with runners in scoring position just has not delivered. Kyle Schwarber, ever since the grand slam that we thought, the Phillies are back on track, just has too many strikeouts, not a lot of power, not putting the ball in play. And then Bryce Harper, as you mentioned, I mean, just really hasn't been the Bryce Harper that we expect. And there have been flashes of it. I think he had better at-bats earlier this week than he's had for the better part since the All-Star break, but it still has to be better. And, look, I mean, he's got really 4.5, 5 weeks here, all these hitters do, to make it right going into October. And you just expect Bryce Harper to meet the moment because that's what he's done for most of his time with the Phillies, but we've kind of been waiting for it for a while now.
4-game set with the Braves starts tonight. Phils have a 5-game lead in the division with 29 to go. Should I be as worried as I am about the NL East?
5-game lead. I mean, I don't think you should be worried. I think we'll see what happens this weekend. And look, if you hold serve, even if you split this weekend, you're 5 up with less than a month to go, and you're in a good spot. And honestly, their schedule gets a lot more favorable after this Braves series. I mean, they've gone through a stretch here of playing postseason caliber teams now for about 3 weeks, outside of that Nationals Marlins homestand, which they won 4 out of 6. So the schedule gets a lot easier. And look, all you do is hold serve. If you split this weekend, you still feel good. If you win 3 out of 4, you're feeling great. I mean, I wouldn't say it's over, but you're feeling like you're in a great spot. And look, they lined it up. I mean, they have Sanchez, Suarez, Wheeler, and Nola pitching in this series. They're not going to face Chris Sale, which is weird to me because they'll end up playing the Braves 7 times in 13 days, and they'll not have faced Sale once. And the Braves had a chance to get Sale in that first series, and then he would have also pitched in this series, and they didn't do it. And I think that's interesting. I don't know if it's weird, but I think it's interesting. He pitched last night, Chris Sale, and the Braves won. And so the pitching matchups in general favor the Phillies, and you're at home, and it's time to take care of business.
Hey, Matt, with the Alvarado situation, I guess it's two parts for me. Do you think he will be back this season? And if that's up in the air, I know he doesn't throw hard, but Drew Smyly's release, and he's had a really good year coming out of the bullpen versus lefties. Do you think he might be something they consider if they're worried about Alvarado coming back?
As far as Alvarado, I don't know. I mean, like, that's the best answer I can give. I mean, I don't think they know. I think that, Rob Thompson's come out and said he thinks he's going to be back this year. They know more than I do, and they're not coming out. And people have been very tight-lipped about this. So I don't know. And I do think it's a concern because as frustrating as Alvarado has been for them, they need him against lefties. And he's been really, really good against lefties. And you look at some of these lineups in the National League, and there's a lot of really good lefty hitters that you're going to see in October. And they intend to use him in the middle games, 6th inning, 7th inning, kind of how they did the last two postseasons. They need him. And as far as Smyly, I don't know. I mean, like, he wasn't released, so he's put on waivers. And with the way the waiver claim works, I mean, the Phillies are now, because they have one of the best records in the league, they're at the bottom of the waiver priority. So, it's possible that he doesn't even get to them if there's a team ahead of them that puts in a claim on Smyly. There's other guys who've gone on waivers too. The Giants put a lefty, Rogers, on waivers. He's got money owed to him next year too. I think they'll consider it, but I'm not sure that these guys even get to them on the waiver priority just because of how good their record is.
Matt, say on the lefties there, obviously tomorrow we'll be able to see Ranger Suarez. Obviously a lot of people, still wondering if he can get back to close to what he was at the beginning of the year, especially physically. Where are you at with confidence level of Ranger Suarez heading down to the wire here with playoffs coming soon?
I mean, I thought his first game back was pretty good. And honestly, the way that people have been talking about him since is there's really no concern about the back. And I do think they gave him an extra pause basically to manage his innings. Like, I think he could have come back probably a week or two sooner. They're like, look, let's just make sure that this guy is fully healthy, fully rested, and now we can just, step on the gas here for the rest of the season and into October. Obviously, Braves are a bigger challenge than the Royals were. But I think you see a guy who, look, even if he's not going to be the Ranger Suarez we saw in April, who's like, best pitcher in baseball kind of Ranger Suarez, if you get like 80% of that, that's a huge boost. I mean, think about how long they really haven't had that, because he struggled in June, really wasn't himself in July, and then has been hurt, on the injured list for most of the time since. So huge boost if he can just be, a solid number 3. That is what they're looking for him to be. And I don't see any reason, or I have not heard anything to suggest that he cannot be that guy going into October.
Hey, man, we've joked around about Bohm's struggles, about it's the girlfriend distraction, it's the home run derby. Like, have you noticed anything that would cause this decrease in production he's had since like June?
Not really. I mean, just an evening out of numbers, because he was so good for the first 3 months that, like, once we look up now, his season as a whole, still really good. It's just kind of evened out. It's evened out in a weird way, I guess. I mean, we've seen mental lapses on the field. Like, we've just seen him visibly frustrated. And look, this is a guy who in the past, like, he would make a mistake or he would have a bad at bat and it would like linger with him for days. And you'll be like, oh no, like, he's clearly in his head. And I think the step forward that he's taken is that we've seen him like be upset, but not let it linger too long. And the Royals game was an example to end the weekend, makes it a really bad mistake in the field, just inexcusable. But then ends up getting 2 big hits later in that game with runners in scoring position. The other night, has a bad at bat, like clearly frustrated, ends up getting, places a double in center field, a little bloop. And maybe that, you're like, oh, maybe that gets him going. But then we've seen him, yesterday just not good at bats. There were a lot of bad at bats yesterday from Bohm. So kind of a course correction, but you'd like to see him get back on track here in the next 4 weeks. Still a guy I think that they, with runners on base, he's kind of the guy they want up there, and I get it. And I think Castellanos gives him a little more protection right now because Castellanos has hit better, and he's their number 5 hitter now. So, really, I think Bohm should see some better pitches moving forward because Castellanos is a threat behind him.
Do you think when the rosters expand, do you think they bring up a starter? Or is it a bullpen arm and a bat? What do you think they do when that happens?
depends on how the next few days go, I think. But I think Tyler Phillips is a guy who's going to come back, and there's weird roster reasons behind that. But basically, long story short, Phillips will be out of options for next year if he stays in the minors for more than 20 days this year, since they added him to the roster and sent him back down. It's I'm deep in the weeds here, but essentially, I would expect Tyler Phillips to be back, either Sunday or early next week, because they want to make sure that they can keep him in the organization next year as rotation depth. Phillips was really good for a stretch there, was not good for the last few starts that he made in the majors. Maybe he's the guy who replaces Walker in the rotation. Maybe he's just a guy who pitches out of the bullpen as a long man. But I think Phillips will be back in early September, and we'll see what kind of role he fills.
All right, Matt, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate your time. Everyone helping today talk me off the NL East ledge. I'm really happy about that. I'm a reaction.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time since the Phillies were in this position, right? I mean, it's like 13 years ago, right, where they're going into September with a divisional lead, and 13 years is a long time, and we've some people have forgotten how to deal with that, right?
I keep going back to 2007, Matt. The week that the Phillies swept the Mets was this week. That week where they won those 4 in a row, ended it with that Chase Utley walk-off, and the comeback was on. It happened this week in 2007. I just don't want to repeat. I don't want to reverse repeat. That's all. As I throw my pen around.
We're predisposed to
Thank you so
much.
much.
That's how we do.
All right, that was Matt Gelb from The Athletic. And just to put a bow on the Phillies stuff, I won't be with you guys tomorrow. It'll be Renee Washington filling in, so panel gets a lot more professional as I exit. But I want some predictions for this series. How are you guys feeling? Because you were trying to talk me off the ledge. Everything's fine. Yesterday was a Taijuan problem.
Yeah.
We're home against the Braves.
Yeah.
And every time we have big games against the Braves, it goes well.
Yes.
What do we like?
I think they split. I think they win tonight. Something tells me Ranger, they lose. They win with Wheeler, and we get a Nolas due for one of his. Yeah, after that nice outing. He's due.
Inning.
Yeah, he's due for a blow-up inning. So I think they split.
I agree. I think it's going to be a split as well. I can't stand these freaking Bravos. Like, dude, they've had so many injuries this year, and they still find a way to stay competitive. Like, they are making us sweat for this NL East title. Like, it's so frustrating. But I do think that we'll split with this series here. And honestly, there's some really good pitching matchups this weekend too.
I mean, they're such a good organization. They draft well. They have depth all the time. It's really annoying.
It's been my entire life.
Yeah.
It's like, well, they lost all these guys, and imagine if the Phillies, just not even the injury or anything, imagine if the Phillies let go of a Freddie Freeman type player,
right,
and how long it would take to recover from that.
For sure.
13 years?
Right.
Like, until Bryce Harper became a free agent? Like, that's how long it would take to recover. And somehow, there's a garden somewhere in Cobb County, Georgia, where they're just pulling guys out and say, hey, you're going to go 7 and give up 2 every night.
Yeah. Didn't they give Matt Olson Freddie Freeman's replacement for Christian Pache?
It's very frustrating, but I am... The most optimistic I can be is a split. I am going to say split as well, and that's me being as optimistic as I can. Yesterday took a toll on. I can't explain it.
That's why
I'm
surprised it took a toll on you.
It's not the fact that they lost. Because, you don't sweep the Astros. There are worse outcomes in the world than taking 2 or 3 from the Astros.
Yes.
They're very good.
Yes.
The way it happened. Like, Taijuan Walker is like the 3rd biggest issue to me yesterday. That's really, and maybe it was just a throwaway. They were never, if they're in it, they're still going to bring in Mercado, and so it doesn't matter because he got bombed too. Maybe we can wash all that away. But I'm still just not in their back mode. Like, they weren't just going to suck the whole second half. They had a nice little run, won 9 of 13, but for a long stretch of this season, they have not been very good, and now they're up against their number 1 rival. And it concerns me, but I am going to be optimistic and say
just because
split.
the Braves have won 8 out of 10?
Yeah, the Braves, who consistently beat us, at least in the regular season. It's just a little bit of a worry.
Yeah.
I would love to see them take 3 out of 4. It's not as if I'm not hoping for it. I'm rooting for it.
I mean, within the last 10 years, how many September horrors with Atlanta have we had? It's happened way too many times.
I'm a little concerned about this series. But if they are to split and it's still 5, and that'll mean there's 24 games, 25 games left, that's probably enough to hang on. But again, 07.
We should be happy to split the series, but like this is why we spent this much money on these star players to win. In this situation, we've had the NL East lead for almost the entire season. You finish out strong, and that's why you bought those big players to finish out this season strong.
And that's what my concern is when I keep bringing up Bryce Harper. This is his team. He is the straw that stirs the drink, and he has not been good. Now, they'll get into the playoffs, and he could have a typical Harper playoff where he goes off, and we're all like, yeah, man, this is your house. And the regular season couldn't matter less then. But until that happens, I'm going to be like, yo, bro, 3 home runs since like the middle of July ain't good.
Yeah, I talked about it. I mentioned it last week. I talked with a guy who played college baseball, and he thinks that Bryce is still hurting from the hamstring, and it's a power issue, and that's what it would affect his power more than anything.
I very much believe that whenever this season ends, whether it's early October or Halloween, we will then find out Bryce Harper was never healthy.
Yeah,
like that's absolutely
came back too early.
Yes, yeah. I absolutely believe that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And before transition to some of the fun stuff we're going to do today, got to hear from VG.
Oh, you want to do some Bet Parks? Hold on, let me get this ready to go.
We love
Bet Parks. I love the casino. I love their online site, but their casino's fun. The Excite Center at Parks Casino, one of the many things I love about my... Well, hold on, let me start this again. The Excite Center at Parks Casino, one of the many things I love about my casino of choice. Parks Casino, this is how you win. Pennsylvania's #1 casino, so close to anywhere. Street Road, exit off of 95 and the PA Turnpike. The Excite Center is the state-of-the-art entertainment venue inside Parks Casino right in Bucks County in the Philly suburbs, named one of the best places for concerts and comedy, and a great place to see the country's best comedians and music headliners. Tickets are on sale now for these headliners. September 7th, the Australian Pink Floyd. September 14th, Funny Man J.B. Smoove from Curb Your Enthusiasm. September 20th, The Best of the Eagles, a tribute to the band The Eagles. September 26th, Joe Bartnick from the Bill Burr Podcast joins Joe Conklin. September 28th, we have The Fray. October 4th, the Juicy Scoop Podcast with Heather McDonald from Bravo and Chelsea Lately. October 5th, comedian Kevin Herrera. October 25th, comedian Michael Blaustein, and November 23rd, comedian Steve Trevino. Parks Casino, this is how you win. ParksCasino.com to buy tickets for all shows. You must be 21. Gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Awesome stuff.
And I'm really excited to tell people about what we have going on tonight, what we have going on here at All PHLY over the next couple of weeks. Listen, we do a lot of stuff here. We have the daily live shows. Mm-hmm. We have all the content, both free and premium. Go to allphly.com, sign up, be a diehard, get all those benefits and much more. But the thing I love best about doing working here at PHLY is getting to do the live events. And we have a few coming up, including tonight. PHLY Phillies crew is going to be at Top Tomato to watch the Phils open this series against the Braves. That's right, tonight for the 6:40 game. Dollar beers, dollar hot dogs all night. There's going to be Phillies ticket giveaways, merch and memorabilia giveaways. Listen, these giveaways, man, they're good. If you maybe were at our Flyers draft party, we're not just giving away, like, oh, it's a baseball autographed by some dude who pitched a couple of innings 5 years ago.
No offense, Kevin Stocker.
Yeah, it's no Taijuan Walker stuff. The giveaways are really, really cool. Always, you got to RSVP to be eligible at allphly.com/events. Always be checking our events calendar because we have nonstop fun happening here, including the Eagles watch party for the opener Friday, September 6th at 7 p.m. It's a live show at Tradesman's. It's Eagles-Packers. They're going to be in Brazil. We're going to be right here having all the fun. $40 tickets include an all-you-can-eat buffet, 3 drink tickets, and an Eagles-Browns ticket giveaway. You can get your tickets at allphly.com. Always bookmark that events calendar. You never know when we're going to be having just a ton of fun here.
Tonight's a good one. Top Tomato's got great pizza,
They
too.
do, yes.
So
I've been to a few events at Top Tomato. PHLY events are always great. Yeah. It seems like a perfect combination. So head on out, see our Phillies crew and more over at Top Tomato.
I'll be there with skis. We'll be doing beer bongs.
Oh, yeah.
$1 beer bongs, maybe.
Yeah, I'm down for it.
I have to come by a little later. Told you. So I want to know, like, it's now Labor Day weekend starts for me like after the Flyers show today.
Nice.
But I do have another commitment prior to the PHLY Phillies party. I'm working security at my old high school for a football game. My buddy is the AD over there, and he didn't have anyone. It's still summer. Like, no one's back yet. He's like, I'm in a bind. Can you do it? I was like, oh, hell yeah. So that's how I'm kicking off my Labor Day weekend. Just want to know what everyone else's plans are.
What's the gear? Like, do you get a security shirt?
I have to get there at 5.
Yeah.
And then he lets me in the building, and he's going to give me the yellow security shirt. And then, I just have to look out for kids like smoking and drinking.
Yeah.
I just vision Bill like a 90s like New York club bouncer. Like he's got his hair pulled back in a bun. He's like, Monsieur ID. What do you want here?
Oh, I'm definitely going.
pull the hair
Maybe
back?
ponytail tonight.
Yeah.
Just to get the vibe
There
right.
you go.
Yeah.
He's got the nice stick. You want to mess around?
Are you going to wear the Shady Rays as well? Really get the scare factor going?
Aviators, ponytail, absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome.
100%.
Dude, I wish I'd known about that. No tangle. I think I went bald because of all the tangles in my hair all the time.
That's definitely the reason.
Yeah.
That's why. Yeah,
That's a great aspect of it.
So what does everyone else have on tap for this weekend?
I have a 90-year-old birthday to go to Friday night. You know, I asked Skeeves this before the show. It was like, yo, 7:30 seems a little bit late for a 90-year-old to celebrate his birthday, right? So we'll be out.
That's a party. That's living 90 right, man.
We'll be out in the Great Northeast. It's 7:30 till 11. That's what I'm saying. Like this party ends at 11 for a 90-year-old.
I can't get some of my friends in their mid-30s to come out till 11 o'clock.
What night of the week is this?
This is Friday night.
Friday? It's a weeknight. Man.
Yeah.
Late.
So that's Friday.
Night.
Still late.
Friday night's weekend. Come on.
Saturday I'll be at a concert at the Met. It's gonna be a good weekend.
Oh, who are you seeing?
This young Puerto Rican artist. Her name is Young Miko. She does like a bunch of different genres of music, mostly reggaeton, but it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I love the Met. If you guys have never been to the Met for an event, it's
very cool.
Phenomenal.
Yeah,
there.
very cool.
It's an awesome venue.
I have zero plans.
Oh,
I
best
love
plans.
the city on holiday weekends like this, and everyone goes to the shore for their
You'll
last
find a
shot.
warehouse to
Come
go
to my block party.
And I'm not coming to a Puerto
Come
Rican
on.
block party. I'm not getting out of here. I went to high school so I could move out
We're
of
at
Puerto
Bounce
Rico.
House, slip and slide.
Yeah,
Dude, beer bottle.
With a bounce house and a slip and slide. No kids at this party.
See, we for my fantasy draft we're doing Sunday. I bought all that stuff a few years ago because like half my friends have a ton of kids, and it's always like it's an all-day drunk party. It's like just set your kids loose, and I got bounce house.
Yeah.
But now I don't have kids,
Right.
And I have all this stuff. I'm like, Ava, I'm throwing it away. She's like, but when we have kids, like when we'll buy it again.
Yeah.
But I'm hauling it up to my buddy's place in media for the
dude.
Yeah, like car full of bounce houses and slip and slides and all that stuff.
These are adults renting.
Yeah, this is
Renting a bounce
come on,
house.
that's
no
not a big
kids.
deal.
That makes honestly good for you. You know what? Never let that kid inside you die.
You get drunk, you go on a slip and slide. It's a lot of fun.
Yo,
Beer
honestly,
bong on the way you do it.
Did you? So we had to reset up our benefits. You got those health benefits all squared away, right?
Make sure for this weekend.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
good.
Just make sure that coverage doesn't lapse before you get on that slip and slide.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Yo, our generation, like we're getting so creative with these fantasy drafts. Have you seen like how people are finding ways to pick to determine the order? Like the Phillies have the golf thing. I saw someone do 40-yard dashes. Whoever's the fastest 40-yard dash gets the number one overall pick.
I'm the commissioner, and every year I have these grand plans to pick the draft order, and we're never all in the same place at the same time, except for at the draft. It's our like one time, and also everyone's like, no, like just pick names out of a hat.
Yeah,
this is the easiest way to just pick the damn names out of a hat, and it's all we do every year. I always propose a big fist fight for the first pick. No one's ever down.
The wrestling fan in you.
If we were to do a 40-yard dash, I mean, yeah, I'd have the 12th pick, but quite a few of us wouldn't finish. I really believe there would be some deaths.
What are those blow-up boxing gloves that you can get? We used to get back in the 90s. They were like
the soccer bobbers.
The soccer bobbers.
Yeah.
That would be so fun. You
Great
soccer bob
throwback,
for the first pick.
I like the hat. I like numbers out of a hat. I'm just old school.
Oh, dude, come on.
We're in a 12-team league. The guy who runs our league's like a Dungeons and Dragons guy. He's got like a 12-sided die he uses for.
At least shotgun
out of a hat.
We've done
His D20.
The one thing we do that's a little sometimes everyone picks a number and then that's the order you get to select your pick.
All
Because
right.
12 is always the most wanted pick because of the wraparound, and then you can just go party for an hour and then come back, look at the board, and go, all right, I know what's next. Our draft is not serious. None of us know fantasy. Like, we're all horrible at fantasy football. It's like, yeah, we've been doing this for 15 years. None of us have ever been any better at it.
Yeah, I do have to give a shout. I do have plans this weekend. Saturday, I have to give a shout out to the pagan community. There is the Philadelphia Pagan Pride Festival at Clark Park in West Philly from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And I will be there at some point in the afternoon hanging out.
What does that entail? What goes
there
on
are
at-
some of your people there. The the Ren Fair people will be there. There's tarot cards. There's all kinds of readers and
Turkey legs, if you're saying that.
Stones. Lots of
Stones?
Stones. What are they called?
Gems?
Yeah.
Crystals? Crystals.
Yeah,
Come on.
Yeah. All that stuff.
All right, I got to let you know the Anthony Gargano Show is presented by Rite Aid. Find all your favorite goods from the store nearest you. I'm constantly finding myself at Rite Aid. Just pick up this and that, all the allergy. I am the fall allergy read we have to do. That is targeted to me. I am the audience. I am selling the stuff, and also like that sounds like a good idea. So check out your local Rite Aid.
I was there yesterday. I grabbed some snacks, but I also, I check my weight. I go. They always have the machine check your blood pressure and your weight.
Those are numbers I just don't care to know. These are things I don't want to know.
Oh man, the John piece in our chat. He says his brother hired Tom McCarthy through Cameo to announce a team order for like their fantasy stuff.
That's good.
That's good.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
I would get Baldy to do that for my league.
Baldy have a Cameo.
Baldy is on Cameo.
Yeah.
We have Buffer doing the intro to the show. I wonder if he's on Cameo. That would be badass.
He 100% is.
Has to be, right?
Yeah, he's 100% is.
For sure.
That would be dope.
That's a great idea, Cameo, by the way.
It really is.
It's just, that's anyone you want, essentially. You just go there, you write up what you want them to say, and it's great.
Well, I'm surprised. I wouldn't even think to look up T-Mac on Cameo. It's wild that he's on there.
No.
Some people don't even have any, restrictions. There are some people who will say, whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's funny as hell.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Is Bad Bunny on there? That's what I would get.
Might be. You have to check. You have to take a look.
It's so wild because the guy from The Office, Kevin, he's like the most lucrative person on Cameo.
Really?
Yeah.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah. He makes bank hundreds of thousands of dollars off Cameo.
You should be on Cameo, VJ.
Yeah, for who?
I'd
Get out of
pay
here.
for your services.
Stop.
I mean, if you get one, it's all profit.
Yeah, sure.
If you just do one, all right, it's paid for a 6-pack, done.
Yeah.
I do a whole lot for a free 6-pack.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm working security at a football game tonight.
No, true.
All right. Before we get to some of your fun stuff,
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have talked about it, but I wanted to do a little bit just on the Sixers arena, this whole controversy and everything.
Yeah.
Because I keep going back and forth on this whole thing. My dream is to keep the sports complex together. I think the sports complex is one of the coolest things about the city. Having all the teams in one place, building that area up along with the Navy Yard, I think could be so badass.
I agree. I like it down there.
That's ideal.
It would be really nice for me personally, because I'm in walking distance of Chinatown, to be able to walk up to some of my favorite pubs, get a pint, and then walk to a game and not have to worry about getting home on the subway or Uber. But I prefer it down in. I like the South Philly thing.
And for me coming from Jersey, I live 15 minutes away. If I really wanted to, I could walk. I don't, but I could.
Well, since you are a Jersey guy, would you be against the Camden idea?
No. I always thought the whole Sixers thing was always it was a red, oh, well, you don't want it in Center City. We tried. We're going to Camden. That's what I thought the whole thing was. But I have been thinking about it a little bit. And while I want to keep the sports complex together,
yes,
having two major arenas in the city could be beneficial to fans for other stuff. One, there's nothing holding us back from getting a WNBA team, from getting a PWHL team, maybe bringing the Phantoms home, having a whole bunch of stuff going on at the Wells Fargo Center, or whatever the hell they're going to call it in January. Also, there's now competition for arena acts, like a comedian, a live show, wrestling, music, whatever.
I just went to two concerts Wells Fargo Center this year.
There's only one place you can go, and they have a monopoly, and the prices are what they are. Perhaps with competition, the fans would benefit from like, oh yeah, it's not $500 to go see like Dave Chappelle, you know, like maybe that would be the trade-off there.
See, I think I work in music a bit. If you have two arenas competing for the same act with two agents, that drives up the price probably for a bit of a bidding war for the act, and therefore your tickets probably would be even higher.
That's a good point, BJ.
You know,
The
if
way-
you want to give Metallica $2 million, but I'm like, hey, come to my arena, we'll give you Metallica for $3 million. Then our
The way
costs are
I was
higher.
looking at it is the rental fee, but acts that big, I guess, you're paying them.
Yeah, there would be
Yeah.
a bit of a bidding
All
war
right,
there.
so never mind. The idea sucks entirely. It's a horrible idea.
I mean, I'm always leery. I appreciate people who make a lot of money and they invest in good stuff, but a lot of times these financial property people, they can be a little not forthright on everything. So I don't really trust everything we hear. And the study came out and it wasn't great for Chinatown, they said, and the community of Chinatown doesn't want it. So I don't know. I don't have a vested interest, but there are people who do and they don't want it. So I kind of respect that, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, that's like, I don't know how it would affect them.
Yeah.
But if they're like, nah, don't want it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't want the city forcing
Yeah.
an arena across the street from me. So I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, I'm a big culture guy, and especially we have so many different cultures from all different parts of the world here, and I think that's what makes Philadelphia freaking awesome. And like, yeah, I don't know exactly. I did not sit there and read the 38-page study there, but that's one of my main concerns is Chinatown. I don't want to affect what they have down there. It has been a staple here for way too long, and I'm not like 100% off on the stadium being in downtown Philly, but like you guys said, the ideal situation is for them to stay close to the other stadiums because, dude, like think about I think 2 years ago we had like a triple header. I think like the Flyers, the Phillies, and the Eagles had a game the same day. Like, dude, that's awesome. Walking from stadium to stadium the same day, you probably want to be able to enjoy that the 6 years.
08 and 09, I did
dude.
World
Oh,
Series and
dude.
Eagles doubleheaders both years.
I've done Phillies,
There was-
Flyers.
Yeah, there was a year in college. The Flyers had a game, a playoff game. Mike Richards scored on a penalty shot, like exact same time. Pat Burrell hit a walk-off home run. Both games basically led out at the same time, and it's just a part. Like, just never want to lose that.
Yeah, dude.
It's the sports community. It is like the defining thing of Philadelphia. Not every great musical act comes from here. Not every great comedian comes from. Sports is what we are, man. And to break it up, it's like, it pains me.
Do we need the Jetro lot? Do we need the rest
Yeah, I
of the
do think.
What if they just
we
build
need
a second
Jetro
arena?
lot. Whoa. Yeah, yes, we need the Jetro
I do
lot.
think they
We
need
need
to make some
FDR.
upgrades.
Yeah.
They definitely need to make some upgrades down there.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
you can't just Xfinity Live can't be the only thing that you go to have
Right.
drinks or whatever
They've been
after
promising
the
us
game or
stuff
before
down
No,
there
the
for
game.
decades.
Since
You need to
Spectrum
have-
2,
Yeah.
and then Xfinity Live was supposed to be like 12 different
Were we
things.
supposed to have a gamer arena
Yeah.
down there at some point?
Yeah, remember that?
Esports
Yeah,
arena?
I do remember that. Yeah.
Well, dude, if you go down to Xfinity on a Friday, Saturday, or even for an Eagles game, you're a literal sardine in there. Like
Yeah.
everyone's like,
Yeah.
you know.
Playoff games, forget about it. You're not moving around. So I think if they upgraded the area, the complex, I'm pro that, you know.
Absolutely.
Bring down other bars, bring down restaurants, bring down, you know,
Yeah.
other venues that you could have, like other concerts and different things like that. Shopping, you know, you could put a lot down there and we build it up and make it a fun experience.
And I do think for like the serious side of it, of impact and of the city, there's a woman in town, Inga Saffron, who's the architecture writer for Philly.com and the Inquirer. She's far smarter than all of us combined. She does a really good job of breaking down reports from the government and investors, and I would highly recommend following her on Twitter. She's really good at reading this and making it digestible for all of us lunkheads.
And the other thing too is like the trend is like everybody every sport, everybody wants a downtown stadium. Like obviously, like with my MLS background, like expansions, right? Like for those new expansion teams in MLS, part of the plans that the MLS wants from these owners who want to buy into the MLS. What's your stadium plan? Are you building downtown? They prefer those downtown stadiums. So this is like all sports, and so this is the trend right now.
Just make the sports complex the new downtown. Boom, problem solved. I love it,
dude.
Problem solved.
Yeah, simple, I'm in.
Just have awesome stuff around, and boom, that's downtown.
There you
Yeah.
go.
All right, VG. I
do
think
some
you
nugs?
Yeah, we have some
Nugs?
fun
All
stuff
right,
planned.
we'll do some nugs.
Yeah.
Nuggy
I've been holding on. We've been jam-packed, so some of these nugs are like from the weekend, but some of them I just had to bring up because we haven't talked about it, and I find them really funny. Rory McIlroy, you see him toss his clubs in the water in a fit of rage? No. He hated the shot he hit in a fit of rage. Watch this. He just angrily tosses his club.
Yeah, this is his swing here.
Look at him.
No, obviously not happy
Now
with
watch
that
him.
one.
Watch him.
You don't see Rory lose his poise too often.
Well, he just three-putted for bogey at 16. Now he misses the fairway here on a reachable par 5. So I think those two things combined, and that's
he's not having a good year, right?
Well, he was upset. The club didn't
That
go all
is
the
the
way in, so
weakest
that's not a
club cross
problem.
I've ever seen on a Muni course, on a country club, or on the tour.
No, when you were setting it up, I was like, see, this is what golf needs. Golf needs Happy Gilmore.
Yes.
Like, that's what would get me to invest any time whatsoever in golf. That's not it.
I do feel bad for the guy for the last couple of years. He's been kind of dealing with this whole live thing and PGA, and he's been kind of like the spokesman for the PGA, like going against live.
And he was getting divorced, and he wasn't getting divorced.
Wasn't getting divorced, and he's changed his swing up apparently like 3 different times.
Once you start tinkering.
And then what was that? That one major that they just had, he was like a 2 strokes, or he missed it by a bad putt.
It was like a 2-foot putty.
Yeah,
jump.
so I do feel bad for the guy. I can understand where the frustration's coming from.
That's not really frustration.
But if you're gonna
that was
throw
like a
it-
Kenny Pickett feeble club throw.
If you're gonna throw it,
Yeah, little
Oh, man.
tiny. Yes, exactly. There's the golf clap, and it was like a golf throw.
Like, he wasn't swearing.
No.
Like, he wasn't losing his
Yeah, you're
mind.
right.
Like, gee,
Oh,
golly. Oh, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, you're
Like, that was the sound the club made.
Yeah.
Like, the club didn't even know it got thrown.
Right.
It's like, oh. Like,
What's going on?
Like, he knew he was going to have to go get it. And that's why it's not in the middle of the pond. Like, he was like, yes.
Well, would it have been the JO move to make the caddy go get it?
I think that's the proper move to
Oh,
go.
is it? Okay.
I think you just toss it and.
Isn't that what he's there for?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, man. Grab the club. He didn't even have to get wet to get it.
Yeah.
That's good. There's another one from the weekend. Clearwater called up their new bat dog, Lily, for the Threshers, and might not be ready for A ball yet. Might need a little more time in rookie ball.
I did see this one. It's great.
Screw that.
Yeah, it pays off at the end.
This was my dog. My dog was just jumping everywhere. This is awesome.
And here's
Unbelievable.
How do you not take the
Unbelievable.
dog to the bathroom before this?
Right. How do you, make sure the dog is fully evacuated?
I think this was a statement on Taijuan Walker. I think this is 13 hits and no strikeouts. That's what that
the
was.
dog's name is actually Taiwan.
That's honestly, when I see dogs doing stuff, I'm impressed when the dog accomplishes it. Like
Yeah.
I've been around dogs. They're all very stupid. Like I love my dog. He'd just be like, they're dogs. They're not intelligent. They're awesome. I love dogs.
They're
but it's
very good at tasks, though. Some of them.
Most of them are
But
just like, nah, I'm good.
Do we need to fetch bats? It's a bizarre thing.
Like when that doesn't happen, I'm surprised.
Yeah, right. Everyone's been going crazy over everybody's favorite high school football player, Ismael Ayala. He comes in, he plays for Governor Mifflin High School. He is 5'7", 315 pounds.
Oh my God.
Part of the class of 2025. There he is doing a little agility drill.
I think he's from Reading.
Yeah, he's a Reading area. Yes.
Oh my God.
Dude, I wish I moved like that.
He's apparently a
220.
beast. The one game he had like 3 sacks, couple tackles for losses.
I was talking about the Eagles' depth on the lines. Could do a lot worse.
Well, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter don't pan out. We got our guy in Reading.
You got that leverage, only 5'7". You're
5'7",
low man
yes.
wins.
Yeah,
like he's
low
winning.
center of
He's winning
gravity,
every
you're
rep,
right.
man.
Yeah,
Good
you're
luck. Like that's the touch push beater right there.
Right.
You can't get under him.
Yeah,
That's the guy.
That's genius.
Well, our guy Ross Tucker quote tweeted his tweet showing some love to.
Ross showing some love.
Yeah, man.
Nice.
He's on top of it.
People love bobbleheads. Everyone except Skeeves. He's a bobblehead hater, which is bizarre.
I have so many freaking bobbleheads.
Yeah, who doesn't? They're great. You just the little heads bouncing. So they got Ohtani bobblehead. It was yesterday. People were lining up at 8 a.m. for a 7:30 game.
Skeeves would just
Like I
laugh
don't
at all those
understand it.
guys.
Was there only a limited amount of these bobbleheads?
It is impressive to have LA fans show up on time.
Oh yeah,
Like this is the only way to do it. Like, hey man, you show up at the third, you might not get one.
Yeah.
They should probably have a bobblehead every game.
This line is just list goes on and on and on.
They're all hanging under the trees, too, if you noticed in the line. They're like bunched up under the tree.
Shade, man.
I love bobbleheads. I have quite a few of them. I'm not waiting in line.
Yeah, I would never wait in line like that for bobbleheads.
I'm not waiting in line for many things. That's not happening.
Yeah, I'm with you with that. I'm not a big line waiter.
Like Madden in high school, that's about it.
I don't understand it. At Citizens Bank Park, I feel like everyone gets a bobblehead and they're left over at the end. Like
now there's plenty. I remember in the beginning when they first started doing the bobbleheads, I am still salty about it because I was 14 years old.
All right.
And it was a Randy Wulf 14 and under. And I was this tall at 14. So they were like, no, you're clearly too old.
What?
And I was like, what? No. Like, Randy Wulf was my guy back then.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm here for the freaking bobblehead. And they're like, no, sorry. I was like losing my mind. My dad's like, it's a freaking bobblehead. Who cares? I'm like, no, I care. I'm here for this.
Did you ever purchase one?
Oh, yeah. I've since got one on.
Can't be that
I've
expensive.
since bought one on eBay. They don't go for much.
There's an age limit to get the bobblehead at
Back
the park?
then, there was. Now the Phillies, they draw. So they have money. They're not just limiting it. It's not, oh, yeah, first 10,000 and that's it. Like, really? Because 50,000 people fit in
What
here.
you end up paying for do you remember what you ended up paying?
It was under $20.
Yeah, oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I've bought a bunch of them, never spent more than 20.
Yeah, kid.
Do a little back in the day. Back in the day, Bobby Clark lived in a house over in Jersey that had a Flyers-shaped pool, in-ground pool, which is pretty sweet. I would imagine the pool exists. I would love to know the address. You could pull it up on Google Maps. Yeah.
You used to have a gym in Cherry Hill, too.
That is the coolest.
That is the best custom pool.
That makes him, he's a Flyers legend for a number of reasons, but just being like, yeah, the team I played for, that's what, it's not the Stanley Cup. It's not like, oh, the captain, I'm going to have a C shape. It's the team.
Yeah.
Bobby Clark, the GM, got a lot of problems with him. But his loyalty to the Philadelphia Flyers is, he is the Flyers.
Yes,
it's Ed Snyder and Bobby Clark are the freaking Flyers.
Yeah.
I wonder where that, because, didn't they, back then, did they, live in Voorhees and Cherry Hill?
Yeah, most of them lived, right in the burbs.
Aren't they still all over there?
I feel like these days they're in Center City.
A lot more of a move to Center City.
Yeah.
But I know
once they have kids, they must bounce.
Yeah.
They'll go
the team really
Haddonfield.
prefers after Richards and Carter that you live in the burbs.
Yeah.
The story is with Claude Giroux. It was like, okay, you're going to make the team out of camp. Where do you think you're going to live? He's like, I'm just going to move in with all the guys in Center City. Let me put it this way. You can do that, and you're going to start the year with the Phantoms. Or you can, go move to Voorhees, and you make the team. And he started the year with the Phantoms.
Wow.
They really prefer you live in the burbs because of the issues that they've had. I think they've lightened up a little since then.
Yeah.
But coming off the problems they had with some of those dudes, they're like, we really don't need to do that.
I trust Cam York and Drysdale hanging around Center City.
And now they all just play video games. They're all nerds anyway.
I respect the Phils because I never heard any of those stories. And Pat Burrell and that crew were legendary in town.
I feel like what was it, Burrell, Jason Michaels, and Tyler Houston?
Yeah.
That was right before the TMZ style reporting of the local teams where it was everyone knew but didn't say anything.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it just became headline news.
If you see these guys at Vesper, someone's going to go, look, I got Taijuan Walker here.
Yeah, now it's just too easy. You just break out your phone.
Yeah.
It's too simple.
There's a picture of the North Korean athletes. They got their picture with the South Korea team, and it seems pretty harmless. Well, the North Korean athletes, when they went home, they are facing strict ideological inspections, and they've been sent away for a month-long ideological evaluation.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
it's
to make
pretty
sure that
serious
they haven't been compromised and want freedom of any sort, I guess.
Yes, that is. I assume that happens to anyone anytime they leave North Korea.
It's pretty wild.
You go back and there's probably a re-indoctrination of sorts.
It's pretty much, right?
Pretty much both countries completely opposite.
To be completely honest, I had no idea that they were allowed to actually compete in the Olympics. I thought they could not leave.
I was surprised
country.
when they were there too.
When I saw them, and they had a section of cheering,
Yeah.
cheers. I was shocked. I was I didn't think this was possible.
Did you see at one point they were in the crowd and there was I don't know what their leader's name at this point is, but there was a guy
Kim Jong-un?
One of the Kims. There was an impersonator there waving to them and stuff while the athletes were in the crowd.
That's outstanding. Just an impersonator. I would love to get to the point where there's Like, I keep looking. There's no Bill Matz parody. Charlie has a bunch.
Dude.
Parody accounts on Twitter. There's not a single Bill Matz parody
you're
account.
looking for a parody account.
Imagine having an impersonator, a dude who just walked like you're Elvis.
No.
Like,
No,
that would be awesome.
Yeah, well, that's the crazy part is now with social media, there's people who will actually dress and look exactly like musicians, and they make money off it. They do performances. People hire them. Like, there's a Drake guy who makes like millions of dollars.
I've seen that Drake
It's
guy.
like,
I forget who he looks like.
You see the people dressed up as like Power Rangers in Times Square and stuff. It's like, I'm taking this a step further.
Well, you guys remember like 2 months ago, Jalen Hurts was at Xfinity Live.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And then Fox Good Day had him on trying to act like it was Jalen Hurts, but he looks pretty similar. That guy.
Yeah, he does. Definitely.
Yeah, he gets drinks all around town.
Girlfriend was loving that.
That's outstanding.
Paul Rudd, actor we all know.
Ant-Man, right?
Yeah. Oh, you're giving it away a little. There's Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd was in a Super Nintendo commercial in 1991. And here it is.
And he looks exactly the same.
He does look exactly the same.
This is commercial.
When you decide to step up to this kind of power, this kind of challenge, this kind of flying, crashing, feeling, when you decide to get serious, there's only one place to come, the games of Super
This could be a preview for
No
the
one
new
else creates
Ghostbusters.
this kind of experience.
Same guy.
Because no one else creates these kinds of games. Now you're playing with power, superpower.
Is this the same voice from the Brigantine Castle commercials?
Oh, those come out. Those commercials are great.
It sounds just like.
It's amazing. He looks exactly the same.
It is.
I had
Guy
one of
doesn't
those.
age.
No.
I had one of
God
those. The
bless
Super
him.
Nintendos. It was sweet. It was the first gaming system I had. I had the Power Glove and everything.
Oh, the Power Glove.
Yeah.
I always had Sega. I was never a Nintendo guy.
I was a Sega guy too.
Yeah.
I had to walk to my buddy's house to play Nintendo. I didn't have a Nintendo. And then I got the 64, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, they had the projector that you can put on the wall and you could play Duck Hunter. We had the gun and you could shoot it off the wall and stuff. Yeah, it was so fun.
That's outstanding.
Good times.
Yeah.
So you said that was pretty sweet. That's a cool slang word. So I got some slang words from the 90s.
Great
I
segue.
want to know if you guys know these slang words other than the first one.
Well, here are some other phrases you want to know. If you want to be sure to sound.
In the 90s. Yo, a greeting.
Yo, Curb, what's up?
Clutch the pearls, said in amazement or disbelief.
Well, you know he's married. Clutch the pearls.
Stop that.
But
Pause it, Fraser. There's no way you knew that.
That is not the context. Like, you hear pearl clutching all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, I gave the example, like, baseball's an old school sport. And Ken Griffey Jr. wears his hat backwards, and all the beat writers are like, "My gosh, goodness gracious!" Like they're clutching their pearls. But this is more of a it's more of like a outlandish exclamation
What did she say?
than it is a descriptor of how people are acting.
She cheated on her husband. Oh my gosh, clutch the pearls.
Yeah,
I've heard
no way you use
the
that
saying.
like that.
I've never heard that.
Maybe I
before.
haven't used it in that form.
All right, let's see Bucks coming up.
80s, it was just wasted.
I don't know how many I had, but boy, did I get bucked.
Who's ever said they got?
That is not something a person. That is not something a person has ever said. Like,
Never heard that one.
I've seen my fair share of Pauly Shore movies.
Yes.
I feel like that would come up, and I definitely have never heard that.
All right, because I
Should've
need
felt
you
to
guys
the
to
next
walk me through because I'm an '80s kid, so I was like, maybe I was just too old in '90s.
Morning, that was really the worst thing I'd ever done. I hope you didn't drive home. No way.
MacGyver, as in the TV show where the impossible is often accomplished.
I can't believe you got off that speeding ticket. What a MacGyver.
Norv,
That
Pause
is
that for a second because I've used that term, but not like that.
that is not the
Not
proper
like that.
context for MacGyver.
Yes.
MacGyver is you
fix
You
something.
MacGyver
like tape.
You MacGyver that thing.
Yeah, like MacGyver. He makes a bomb out of like a pen and a paperclip.
Yes.
Like, I fixed my car steering wheel with a frisbee. I'm MacGyver.
Yeah.
Like that is the context of MacGyvering. That is
We're all on the
incorrect.
same page so far.
Yes.
Norville is next.
to secretly undermine.
What? I can't believe you saw your job. You've really been Norville.
Has anyone been Norville?
I have
No.
that was hilarious. I honestly, my favorite thing about this is like the frame, just the ultimate
like a,
90s
Saved by
frame.
the
Of
Bell.
it. Yes, exactly.
And this is definitely early 90s, right? Like 90, 91, 92.
I have no idea.
This is pre-grunge, definitely. Yeah.
Black & Decker, or a real tough assignment. You get the analogy, right?
This job is a real grind. It's just a Black & Decker.
Never.
I don't know if we should have played that. But I get what they're going for.
Yeah.
Like it's a project. It's a tough thing. You need tools to do it.
Yes.
I get what they're going for.
You've never altered
but no
this
one's
one.
ever said that.
Right,
Like
right.
human beings never said that.
You would think these kids would be like telling this older guy, like, who's saying this?
I'm thinking of the in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, where Hunter Thompson goes to the drug conference, and it's all the cops explaining all the different words for drugs.
Yes.
He's like, a drug user told a cop these as a joke because no one says any of this, and that's what they're doing at this conference. And I think that's what this slang is. Like, someone is
kids look like
they're
fools
putting out a PSA, and it's like, parents are never going to hear any of this, so they won't be alerted to our actual slang.
Right.
Dude, this is insane.
Some phrases may be around forever.
Well, look, I gotta run. Peace. Bye, Tom.
Peace.
I still use that.
Yeah.
You still use that? You still
Peace
I
out.
say, when I talk to people on the phone, I say, all right, peace.
I don't say, yeah.
And all of the variations with deuces.
Yeah.
One last word for words of the 90s. You got to remember that hip slang changes rather quickly, so if you want to use any of these phrases, you better use them in a hurry. I mean, think of Bart Simpson. Cowabunga is dreadfully out of date, horribly out of style, and you don't want to appear biotic, do you?
I do like
Cowabunga is still relevant.
Yeah, man.
Nothing else he said other than yo and peace.
They're still making Turtles movies. Cowabunga will always be relevant.
Yeah, Ninja Turtles are freaking awesome. Cowabunga.
I'm disappointed we didn't hear fat, but I think that's a little later, maybe closer to the 99, 2000, maybe.
Yeah.
Because I'm like trying to think how old I was, but everything was fat.
Was fat just like something dope, like something cool?
Yeah.
PHAT.
PHAT.
I've seen
Yes.
You were too young.
I've seen it.
You're too young for fat.
I've read
That's
about
hilarious.
this term you
I've
use.
seen. Well, I went to like the Gene company.
I saw this
Fat
really
Farm.
old movie. It was made in '92.
Kid and play.
Surprised I didn't hear Dope.
Yes.
I've been trying to
Dope
bring
is a
Dope
good
back
one.
recently.
I like Dope.
Yeah.
I still
Dope is
say
great.
dope.
That's
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah. I think it's a great descriptor.
Yeah.
But that's great stuff.
Pretty
right
wild.
there.
Oh, and one more. We got this car. Oh, we'll do this one. Carvel ice cream. Yeah. It was a commercial about their ice cream cakes.
Hi there, I'm Dumpy the Pumpkin. Carvel's Halloween ice cream cake. I weigh 44 ounces and serve 10 to 12 people.
Having a Halloween party? I'm Wiki the Witch, and I weigh 45 ounces. We're both made fresh daily at your participating Carvel ice cream store.
You want to send one to a friend? Please phone 800-327-GIFT and call the Cake Honors most major credit cards.
Hey, I'm going to call this number right now and see if anybody answers this.
The number that you were dialing is out of service.
How are you sending that to a friend? It's going to melt.
Can we get 2 Carvel cakes,
This
please?
is so great.
This call may be recorded for quality assurance.
Uh-oh.
We have a special promotion today for select callers. If you are over 50, please press 1.
This is not for ice cream cakes.
Are you sure?
Hold on, I got to press something.
Are you over 50?
Okay.
No.
You're over 50.
If you are over... Hello and congratulations. Just for calling today, we're offering you a free medical alert device.
Free medical alert device.
327 gift.
That is tremendous. That's so
Dude, that's good.
You get the life alert?
for clicking the button for under 50 and you still get the free medical alert device.
Well, those same people were probably buying those Carvel cakes back then.
Not enough in the Carvel commercial about the crunchies, because that's the best part. That's what makes the ice cream cake is the crunchies in the middle.
Absolutely.
Do they even advertise anymore?
I feel like why would you?
I see them in
why
like those...
spend $1 on advertising? You are the ice cream cake.
Yeah. They have like those 2 small fridges at your shop rates, so like just go in.
Yeah.
They have a small selection now.
I'm not sure of how smart it is to have you're serving food to the public and your mascot is Dumpy.
Right.
Dumpy. Yeah.
I'm not sure about that one.
The voice was a little abrupt.
Maybe this is why they stopped advertising. Like, this can only hurt us.
Yes.
It's actually advertising is actually worse for us now.
We're losing.
One more quick one. This car, there's nothing weird about this car in the water, in the Schuylkill, just chilling out at like 3 a.m. in the morning. It's a 2020 Range Rover.
Oh, that's rough.
Apparently 2 people getting busy hit the shifter at 4:15 a.m. and it rolled into the water with them inside it.
This is just why this isn't like it's a 2-door like a Range Rover. You have the back seats.
It's a roomy vehicle.
You have the whole back seat. You can put the back seats down.
Yes.
What are you doing? That's my biggest problem with this.
I think.
What are you doing?
I think we need to teach car bow chicka wow etiquette there, VJ.
Got to use that emergency brake as well. This is just
emergency brake is key.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, new definition of water sports. Boom, boom.
And that is all the time we have for you on the Anthony Gargano Show today. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for hanging out. If you haven't already, you got to hit that subscribe button. Follow us right here on the YouTube. Never miss a live show. Make sure you're following us on Twitter as well, PHLY Gargano Show, and the podcast wherever you get those. Just search Gargano. All right, my name is Bill Matz. That's VG. That's Jeep. That's JP.
Like that.
That's General Booty. Have a great Labor Day, fam.
We all silly like the mayor.